This is part of a bankruptcy strategy. Sure. Devalue the company as much as possible so you don't lose too much on a bankruptcy, I suppose. That could be. He knows a lot about X's. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, true. Good one. Anyway, I got some paper here. So, last weekend, just the other day, went to Midwest Meltdown in Peoria, Illinois, for another Domus jam. Domus tourney, always a good experience. 60 people showed up, 62 something, I don't know, 63, 60 something, I think low 60s. Damn, that's a lot of people for a tournament in the middle of nowhere at a game store. Big event. Oh, anyway, let's set the scene. So, went to Midwest Meltdown, about 3 hours away. From me, no big deal. Got a hotel immediately. 2 minutes from the venue, not bad. 2 minutes from the venue is also a description of the size of Peoria, but that's fine. In radius. It was Zeke's Hobby and Games, ZEEKS, maybe Z. Anyway, ZX. Looked like a fine little magic store. Good AC, nice and clean. Smiling workers, you love to see it, right? Handcrafted soda. Zeke's is based in Washington, Illinois, which is near Peoria. Okay. So they're a chain, I guess. And they had a big old tournament space, 2 doors down. Huge tournament space room with a bunch of tables. Walked in the morning, AC was blasting. You'll love to see it. Wargamers are big. You want that AC going. And so when I walked in, I'm like, oh, hey, this is comfortable. And then 60 Warhammer people went in and played games all day, and it was like 1,000 degrees. But that's just what happens. They at least started from a cool place, which was nice. I appreciated that part. Did you buy the big set booster for the lulz? No. I don't buy random assortments of cards. If I want a card, I buy that card. I'm not trying to gamble. Also, them shits are getting extra expensive. And I don't want random cards just filling up my house. Also, those are expensive. Oh, it's Kicker 7's local shop? Nice. Yeah, met some flats on the way. Tension 8105 is in chat. Kicker 7 is in chat. Rem is in chat. Met some flats there. More than a few, which is nice to see. And they were doing pretty well. Rem did pretty well. We'll get to that. Had 2 big dinners. One was a big old barbecue place. Got some brisket, delish. And pho, which I talked about before. Which was surprisingly good considering the first time I had pho was really shit. So, hey, maybe that stuff's back on the menu now. Although usually, in everywhere in America, except Peoria, if there's a good pho place, there's also probably a good ramen place. And ramen is just superior, so. But it doesn't matter, the shit was good. They didn't have a ramen place. What are you gonna do? Big dinner, yeah. It's usually your go-to, thanks for letting me play here tax. Oh, yeah. I mean, you gotta buy something, right? I just bought a shitload of soda, so. I suppose I might as well have gotten physical cards out of the deal. Yeah, you make a good point. Any Connecticut diners or a good sushi place? Last time I drove through Connecticut was a long time ago, and yeah, it was just like way stations and oases and stuff, so I don't have a good frame of reference here. You think about the Adepticon ramen place like once a week? We're going back. Next Adepticon, for Adepticon, I wanted it to be like And we'll go out to big dinner. I'll find a different restaurant every time. Do that kind of thing. That ramen place is so fucking good. Look, Adepticon lasts 3 or 4 days. If ramen is locked in to one of those days, you still get to experiment with the other ones, right? So maybe it's a thing. Maybe this yearly tradition becomes an annual holiday, right? All right. This tournament was special. Let's go over the rules. You had special fun rules added to it because it's a Domus event and he appreciates fun. You bring 2,000 points to this tournament. I'm going to start clicking through some of these pick tours. I'm just going to have people's armies that I took pictures of up on the screen whilst we talk. This was Andrew Yell's Fire Slayers, done up to look like Chaos Dwarves. And the dude with the humongous sword in the middle, that's Godric. Painted really well, if I do say so myself. He always goes for those muted colors that almost like looking at it in moonlight sometimes. Still really colorful, uses a lot of different colors, but they're all sort of muted, and that's not common. Chorf detected. Anyway, it's good work and good stuff. He's good at skin, especially after getting glasses. He didn't realize he needed glasses. He got glasses, and he's like, my miniatures look terrible. Oh my god, I can't paint. All my shit looks bad, he said after he got glasses. And the interesting subtext here is that everyone thought he was a great painter, and then he got glasses, he doesn't think he's a great painter, and then he got better. So, I don't know. There's probably a lesson there somewhere. Ahem. The rules of the tournament, 2,000 points. You get a free real estate. 100% do not pay for it.
Twitch Prime.
Underworld Warband. But you can add to your army. It has to be one from your Grand Alliance, but it doesn't have to be part of your ally list or anything like that. Black Bear 35, thanks for the big primer. I appreciate it. TY. Anyway, so you show up with 2,000 points. On top of that, you get an Underworld Warband. And some of those are 3 heroes for 240 points. They're sizable. They're sizable additions. And so everybody could just do that, depending on your GA. So it was almost because a lot of people just found the most expensive warband that their Grand Alliance had access to and just got that for the value, for the EV, right? So it walking up and down and looking at everybody's armies, a lot of the armies just looked like 2,200 point armies. 2,200 points. A 2,000 point army and 200 points worth of an Underworld Warband. Now me, which Underworld Warband did I choose? That's a great question. I didn't own an Underworld Warband. I don't have any. I don't own one. And I didn't think I was going to be able to go to this tournament, and then I suddenly was free, and so I signed up last minute. And so I just didn't have a warband. Well, alright. Hey. I'm just going to play in this tournament and be 200 points down from everybody else. Fuck it. I don't care. I'm here to play the game and take pictures of people's armies and have some big dinner and play Commander. I don't give a shit. So yeah, I showed up. No wizards. No 200 point warband. No great maw pot. Let's fucking go. Let's just go. Let's just see what happens. What was I playing? Great question. It was 4 big guys. Recently nerfed. The most recent points changes in the balance update destroyed my list and caused it to be 2,010 points. Because Mournfang did not go down in price. Stonehorn Beast Riders. I thought they would go down. They went up 20. Shows what I fucking know, right? So I had to replace a Stonehorn Beast Rider with a Thundertusk Beast Rider, even though they suck. And I ended up being 1940, so playing 60 down on top of the other stuff. But I tell you what, I got my triumph every game, that's for fucking sure. So we got Kraga Morose, the End of Empires, big. Jenny, Frostwood on Stonehorn, second Jenny. Touched by the Everwinter so that he is a priest. I waffled back and forth about whether I should take Arcane Tome or become a priest. In my heart of hearts, I knew Arcane Tome was the answer, but I was sick of taking it. Fuck it, I'm going priest this time. And I'll take the grand strategy that requires there to be no wizards on the battlefield. And there we go. This was a mistake. Just take Arcane Tome, even still. That would have been better. Artifact Seat to the Alpha Gear, which is once per game. You can use 2 monster actions in the same turn with the same model. But they have to be different monsters actions, obviously. Which, you can imagine what the 2 are going to be. Overwhelming Charge, and then Roar whatever you just landed next to. Combo, right? And I took the Heal Prayer. Got Mornfang pack with clubs and hackers. They kick back mortal wounds on 6s to save. So they are chaff. That's very fast. 11-inch move. That's really fast. So they're fast chaff. Really expensive. And sometimes they kick back mortal wounds when they die. Isn't that what you want your chaff to do? Kick back mortal wounds sometimes. I rolled 1 6 to save for the Mornfang during both of the days total. But I could have rolled higher, right? Is that 3 battle line? Yeah, it is. We got Mornfang. Stonehorn Beast Riders count as battle line if your general is Beast Claw. And Thundertusk Beast Riders. And there's that. So we are 2 drops in Boulderhead for the bonus stuff. And ready to get into the season of Primal Magic. Which, on paper, it seemed to me like a dispeller's dream, right? If you are trying to counterspell, you are favored. You get to watch the person trying to cast the spell. They have to make all their decisions. They have to add the primal dice to it or not. And then after that, you can be like, okay, you used that many dice. You got that number. Will I use all of mine to unbind? Yes. Every time, And you can do it with heroic willpower. So I'm like, maybe not having a wizard isn't so bad. Spoiler, it is. I would probably use a wizard moving forward. So I wouldn't have to use the heroic action all the time. But we'll get to that later. You believe in the what is this? In the before times, people could bring a monster to use in certain rounds when there were Gur monster rules in GHB. Yeah, he had that as well. Domus always likes to add fun random crap to his tournaments, which I appreciate because that's what this game is. It ain't chess, it ain't Magic. The game isn't set up to be competitive, it's just people play it competitively if they like. There's a huge difference between a competitive game and a game people play competitively. Anyway, into the meat grinder we go. Also, I kept this is my round 1 opponent, putting little happy memes and stuff all over their Sylvaneth army. Good work, good work. Look at this fucking tree Chad there. Round 1 was Sylvaneth. They had, you know what? I brought this up. I was prepared to bring this up. All right, Army Sylvaneth, just so you guys can see it. It is Mr. Harto Wood. Grand Strat with Spellcasting Savant, Bloodthirsty, and the Dwindling. The Free Underworld's Warband, G-Cells Aranai, had an Arc Revenant, Lady of Vines, Any getting stepped on enjoyers? Warsong Revenant. Any really good unit enjoyers? With Spell Singa, the Vesperal Gem, Verdant Blessing, Virtuous Harmony. 5 Tree Revs. These are good because they can teleport. Kurnoth Hunters with great swords. Kurnoth Hunters with great bows. And 6 with sides. 20 Dryads. Spite Swarm Hive, of course. It's the little engine that kind of makes the thing work. 2 drops with Warband 3. This will be a theme. I was playing without a Warband, which actually really hurt throughout the whole day, but it meant that by accident I had 1 fewer drop. And so I got to determine who went first in most rounds, which was kind of cool. So I didn't get nothing for my lack of Warband. Although, I really would have done better if I did have one. But I just didn't have time to buy one and paint one up. Ahem. You had the worst warband in the whole event. You just took them because they were fun to paint. Yeah, I think that was the intent for about half of them, right? Bows are not worth it. They didn't do anything for you all tournament. Yeah, that is the prevailing opinion for the most part. Oh, by the way, thanks for the Prime. Was this... Oh, geez. I should have written this down. Was this... There was somebody I played against where it was like their first event, or close to their first event. Was that you, the Sylvaneth player, or was that somebody else? I can't remember. Somebody, it was like their first 2-day event or something like that. It couldn't have been Sylvaneth. I don't think. Maybe it was maybe it was one of the 2 Stormcasts. I can't remember. Anyway, regardless. Wouldn't it be cool if I could find your army here while we're talking about the game? I just took a bunch of random pictures. We'll get to all these later. I'm just trying to find... a lot of cool-ass armies here. Look at this color scheme. Nice one. You think Big Bow would be scarier, but no. Yeah, it hits on 4s. Doesn't have a lot of shots. Elite squad, right? Look at these Nurgle Ironjaws. Huge. Good conversions. I played against this army at some point. Mike Butcher, always a great one. Oh, wait, hold up. This is it. All right, we did it. We found it. Switch hat? Sure. We'll go big. You took the list because it was fun, and you were using a bunch of models you never really used before. Oh, sweet. Alright, round 1 was Sylvaneth. It was the battle plan where you have the 3, or where you have the 4, and at the start of battle round 2, person going second chooses one of them to be big and explode, and then every round after that, it moves. The big explodo thing shifts 1 degree over, and you get bonus points / only points for being on the main one and the ones adjacent to it. This one, I like this one, and it's fun. Maybe I like it because I play an army that wants to just be in the middle and then move somewhere. But I kind of like it. You have to shift around. You got to move around a little bit, you know. Yeah, the objective markers do fit the board perfectly, don't they? Turn 1, opponent. Magical Dominance was the battle tactic, and then they cast a spell with a person who is out of unbind range, and got him. Easy. So simple. This is actually the reason why I think you really do want a wizard. Even just one, even if you suck at spellcasting as an army. It's the battle tactics. Doesn't it always come back to the battle tactics? What are you going to do round 1. How are you going to get those 2 points? Because the first turn of the game is generally the hardest turn to get a battle tactic for, with the exception of turn 5 when you're kind of scrounging through your book to figure out if any of them are even possible if you didn't have a good plan, you know? But in Battle Round 1, you also have this extra thing where you're like, if I get really out of position with a risky one, like the one that wants you to be on 3 different board edges or something like that, you can then be punished constantly for the next 2 hours by trying to get back into a position you should have been in a turn ago, kind of thing, you know. Anyway, cast a spell, super easy, putting wildwoods all over the table, 6 Kurnoth scythes, teleporting to and fro, coming in, killing stuff, strike and fade away. Sylvaneth are sweet. Super sweet. These guys shooting arrows that are just bouncing off stone skeletons and trees in the way and stuff. Nothing really happening there. I went for surround and destroy. Oh, yeah, it's all coming back to me. Okay, now we got our sad story. So, I've been playing this list on TTS. As you have seen, I've played a bunch on stream, you know, in the past. And it's always Kragnos, 3 Stonehorns, and a Mournfang. Kragnos, 3 Stonehorns, Mournfang. 2 Stonehorns are battle line, 1 Stonehorn is leader, you know, the general. And so I look at the battle tactics and I'm like, well, I'll just do the one where I run to the edge of the table on 3 different things. And so I deploy kind of a little farther away from the table edges, but run rolls will get me there, no big deal. I just don't want to get alphaed in a certain way and have a guy able to countercharge but still get towards all the board edges. And I'm thinking about this and like, all right. And then it comes to my movement phase and I'm taking 1 step over to the Thundertusk Beast Rider. And I'm like, all right, I'll just move 14 plus run to the table edge here. And I'm like reaching towards them and I'm like, this is move 8. Thundertusks are slower than Stonehorns are. Oh dear. And so the Thundertusk just went towards the table edge, but he was too slow and the battle tactic was automatically failed. And at that point, the game was maybe over, but we could still fight it out and hopefully opponent, you know, something could happen, but it was bad. I was too used to playing the old list. I didn't think long enough. It was simply a mistake. But it's a mistake that we won't be making again, so no big deal. So yeah, battle tactic failed, Thundertusk too slow, but I don't think this counts as like Thundertusks are bad because I forgot what their movement was and failed a battle tactic. That sounds a little like I'm blaming the model and not my mistake, right? It does suck that Thundertusks are so slow. That is a reason why they're bad, but it was a mistake I shouldn't have made regardless, right? So that was a rough one, kid. I scored 1 point that battle round. Opponent won priority and did the did a book tactic where you have to teleport and charge, which for Sylvaneth, pretty easy. You can do both. Oh, we can complain that Thundertusks suck, but also the reason I didn't score points wasn't necessarily because they suck. It was because I forgot that they sucked. To spread the blame around like buttered toast, I guess. There's a big piece of terrain that you needed to run around to, which didn't help. He was about 6 inches to the left. He would have had it. Yeah. Yeah, true and real. But it was a mistake, so what are you going to do? Looking in the app, where's the Kragnos War Scroll hidden? It's under War Masters. I know. I had to search for it too, and I didn't know where it was. There's a heading called War Master, and Kragnos is in there. Anyway, turn 2, round 2. Sorry, turn 1, round 2. Opponent chose a book tactic where they need to teleport and charge. I don't think they did. Big lucky me. Opponent fails the charge roll. Gave himself +2 to charge with the little endless spell right there. Teleports right in front of my guys, right? Ready to take somebody out and still be next to a wildwood and still be able to, strike and fade. I believe, if my memory serves, it was a 5-inch charge. 5-inch charge, got a bonus to it. They could re-roll, and the dice said no. Re-rolled, and the dice said no. Here's my chance. I dropped a battle tactic. Oh, it was 6 and you rolled 2 5s? Ah, okay. I thought it was 5. So, remember what I said. Hey, maybe, opponent, something will go wrong. Battle round 1, I failed a battle tactic because I misplayed. I played badly. Opponent failed a battle tactic because it just didn't roll any good. And so now we're even. So instead of opponent losing from this point, we're tied. So I was saved. I was saved by the dice. The back of your club jersey says failed charge for a reason. Teleported to be 9 away, but +3 to charge. Hashtag just roll 6s. Well, he had to just roll a 6, 1 6, not 6s, with 2 dice. And it said no twice. And you can't really play around that. You can just give yourself the best chances at it, right? And then for mine, I chose Lead into the Maelstrom. And we got that one. The one where you have to charge and the dudes still have to be alive. I believe that's what the Lead into the Maelstrom is. You charge with a hero and a battle line unit. Hashtag just take a battle mage is what you learned this weekend. That guy's going away very soon. New Cities of Sigmar comes out. Battle Mage might not give a charge bonus anymore, and there's a lot of armies that are relying on that charge bonus as a central linchpin to make their entire Alpha Strike plan work. So, I don't know. Don't get too comfortable. As soon as COS book comes out, that Battle Mage might be not necessarily shelf, but just different in a way that destroys a lot of strategies in Order armies. Your Thundercats are really going to miss that Battle Mage. Dude, a lot of people are going to miss it. A lot of people. Fulminators are going to miss it. A lot of Stormcast armies are going to deeply miss it. Not just Cities of Sigmar, not just Sylvaneth, all the rest, right? So, Battle Round 1, opponent scored 3, I scored 1. Battle Round 2, I scored 6, opponent scored 1. Big swing. And also big priority roll. Opponent won it for round 3. And went for Intimidate the Invaders for 6 points. That's the one where you have to get outside your territory. And Intimidate the Invaders is actually kind of funny, because it's one of the ones... So it's a battle tactic, and what you're supposed to do is get wholly outside your territory with the majority of your units. And so if you do that turn 1... If you choose that one as your turn 1 battle tactic, it's almost like your battle tactic is telling you to do the thing that I tell people never to do, right? When you're a new player and you play your first game ever, and you just move all your guys up right into the center of the table and just stand there ready to get charged and then double turned, It's funny that we have a battle tactic telling us to run into an open field and just stand there. Nothing will go wrong. Don't worry about it. Oh shit, double turn, right? So I think that's kind of funny that they wrote one to do that. Yeah, it's fine for the game that it goes away. I think so too, Penny Dude. There's like 2 different ways you could think about it. There's like as a player and as a game designer or something like that. It's probably not okay that 100-point wizard is turning on a really good Alpha Strike strategy for like 4 armies. That's probably not good for the game. But as a player, that shit's fun. Don't take my toy away, Hell, I'd take a dude who gives +2 to charge if I had a teleport. Yeah, +1 to cast because technically we're in Gur by some sort of coincidence, you know. Let's see what happens here. Full 6 points for the opponent in round 3. I have in my notes best day ever for Flosh versus full Scythe squad plus all their buffs. Flosh super dead. I wrote that down before he died, and then I have a check mark next to it when it happened. Turn 3, battle round 3. I also did Intimidate the Invaders and scored 7 points because this thing was moving, right? And so I got just everything around it, possibly killed a wizard or something for a bonus point, I can't remember. Round 4, opponent wins prio. Oh, and it was double 6s to prio. In parentheses, lost the game at this point again. Oh, okay. Maybe I thought at the time that that it would be nice to win priority there. Which in retrospect it would have been, but what are you going to do? You can't win all the prios. Turn 4, bait and trap. Got it. 5 points. Me, reprisal, because General died. I needed to kill these scythes. These scythes live for so long. For the whole game. Typically what you do if you're going to beat Sylvaneth is they're going to take these 6 and they're going to put them somewhere and kill something of yours, and then they're going to go back here. And so now you have a problem to solve. Like, how are you going to solve that problem? Well, you got to kill them somehow. And me, reprisal, 13-inch charge, 6 mortal wounds, Kragnos. Whiff the combat, fail all, everything, and also the battle tactic, and probably the game. 4 points. Nice. All right, so that wasn't the best turn for me. 7 points on round 3 is BT, control and objective, the bomb, and the 2 next to the bomb. Yeah, I had a pretty good... I left myself with I would say a pretty commanding board presence at the bottom of 3. But couldn't keep it together and also failed to kill the Kurnoth Scythe next turn. And then Battle Round 5, I won Prio, but there wasn't really much to talk about for Battle Round 5. It was just like, well, I can get this BT, you can get that BT, here's where we're going to go. All right, yep. I got 3 points, opponent got 4 points, and I lost by 1 point. And it was pretty well played. Sylvaneth is a hard one to play. They got a good strat. And, Kurnoth Hunters with scythes, well, actually with anything, Kurnoth Hunters are big boys. Very durable, hard to kill. You can layer a lot of buffs on them. It's not, they're no glass cannon, you know? You have to have a pretty decent plan and a big dam to take them out. So sometimes the unreliability of Beastclaw comes back to bite me, and this time it did. Remember the Battle Mage and Fulminator thing? That's how you killed the scythes in the game you played against that list? Yes. Yeah. Yeah, that's the plan. 3 Seekers is better than 3 Bows. Yeah, I think Black Bear was mentioning that. He's like, okay, I'm trying out these bows, and he was not feeling them. He was trying them out, and apparently they just didn't do much for him all day. So, time to swap them for something. Probably something that's fast. Because you have your 1 combo here. This can go out and harry people. You got chaff, you got other chaff, you have some big boys for counter charges and a bunch of magic. Maybe something like one other fast unit that can fly over here or fly over there and do something, perhaps. People are saying 3 Seekers over bows. Or even another Rev. Because these guys teleporting is a big deal. Great for tactics, great for objectives. So we are 0-1, ready to submarine. But I'm feeling pretty good, because it was like, the game was pretty close. And I lost, I believe it was like 21-20 or something like that, I believe. And so I'm in my head, I'm thinking, damn, if I hadn't made that stupid mistake, it might have been a tie or something like that, you know. I thought, I don't know, Sylvaneth is hard to play against, so I wasn't feeling that bad. Round 2, Stormcast Eternals. Let's see if I can find it. There's Christian Ware, posing for the camera as always. I was just taking pictures of cool stuff at this point. We'll go over all the armies when we talk later. Don't worry about it. Looking for Stormcast that has... Hold on, I have this saved. Stormcast Eternals, Hammers of Sigmar, Signs of the Storm, Grand Strategy Overshadow, Lord Relictor, Knight Incantor, Averon Stormsire, Lord Castellant, 4 Fulminators, 2 Stormdrake Guard, the Dragons, Drake Riders, Warblade, Vanguard Raptors with Longstrike, Aetherwing, Vanquishers, Vindicators, and the Curse Breakers going with the squad there. And Datorian Acolytes, rolling a lot of extra primal dice, getting a lot of extra primal magic. Thunderbolt Volley, of course. Anyway, continuing to look for... Wait, is this it? No. This is the last round, Stormcast. There was one other Beast Claw player. Always nice to see representation. One more. Oh yeah, the Shark. Alright, starting over from the beginning. Where's the Stormcast with the Dragons? Oh, that's Cities of Sigmar. Look at the color scheme. Nice one here, actually. Hey, look, big hair dude. Yeah. Oh yeah, this is OBR and Nighthaunt done up as Sylvaneth. And so just constructing all of it out of bits with a nice little theme there, looking good. I believe there were 2 Gutbusters. 1 or 2 Gutbusters. Chillin'. Just shooting cannons, walking forward and slapping. I don't know how they did. Here it is. Okay, this is it. This is round 2. We're 0-1. It's time to get serious. It's time to pick it up. We got to get a dub. So this was against Stormcast Eternals. We got the big dragons, these guys. How shall I describe this version of Stormcast Eternals? I would say it is the pretty close to the cookie cutter. Not really cookie cutter. Cookie cutter has like a negative connotation, and I don't want to mean that. I'm going to say it's the good version of Stormcast. Can we call it good? Ruboy Doss, thanks for a big primer for 23 months. I appreciate it. Yeah, that is almost 3 years. Intention 8105, thanks to the tier 1 for 26 months. Good tourney and good vibes. True. It was sweet. Yeah, El Clasico, exactly. 4 Fulminators will do very high damage on the charge. 20 damage, 3 attacks, plus a whole bunch of mount attacks, breath weapons that do mortal wounds. They blast people on the charge. But when you're not charging, instead of 3 damage weapons, it's 1 damage weapons. And also people tend to run them like this in a line. And so if you charge them over here, you can pin them in an awkward place and take not much damage for a while you whittle them down. The problem with that, though, is that they're still crazy durable. They're really durable. They are hard to kill. New GHB this tournament? Yes. Long strikes, still good. They're just still good. And you got Castellant to give them +1 armor. Mystic Shield to give them +1 armor. You know, you shine that light. All out defense, give them +1 armor. If you are fighting these guys and you have Rend 3, their save is a 3-up. They're hard to kill, these guys. unless you do mortal wounds. Then, that's mortal wounds are kind of the Achilles heel of Stormcast on purpose. If you couldn't do mortal wounds to Stormcast, the motherfuckers would be invincible. So everybody needs a downside. Anyway, this list, I don't see, there was no battle mage on this one. Quite possibly to fit in dragons because person thought they were cool, and also because battle mage is going away, probably with the new Cities of Sigmar book anyway, and so you might as well plan for the future. Was this might be first tournament guy, maybe. I wonder if they're in chat. Comment below, maybe if it was. Hammers Sigmar, so they get 6-up ward around wholly within 12 of an objective. And with the new smaller board, wholly within 12 of an objective, that's a lot of the table. And what did I just say? Mortal wounds are the problem for Stormcast, right? So you might as well have a 6-up, even though a 6-up kind of sucks. You still get to roll dice, I guess, when damage happens, and that's kind of nice. At the very top of my notes here, I wrote, got lucky rate, 72%. So it seems like I got 72% lucky this round. Jeff lives like 45 minutes away from Madison. He's new-ish, so yeah, it was probably his first 2-day tournament. General thought, do you think there's just too much mortal wound dealing in the game at this point? No. But then again, so a lot of this is going to have to do with perspective, right? I've been playing Age of Sigmar since first edition. It got points. So yeah, the number of mortal wounds happening was at an all-time high in first edition for sure, and then fell off precipitously in second edition. And now it's third edition with the best save stacking since first. And I think, like, honestly, I think the amount of mortal wounds happening in third edition is roughly the same as second edition. To me, this is not scientific, but yeah, it feels like about the same amount of mortal wounds are happening as previous editions. The difference is everything you fight has a way better armor save than it used to. With the exception of Blizzard. Yeah, with the exception of one spell this particular season, I think why people think there's too many mortal wounds is because they're playing against a lot of mortal wounds. And the reason they're playing against a lot of mortal wounds is people only play stuff that does mortal wounds. Because everybody's armor saves are so crazy that if you don't, you can't kill anything and you lose. And so I think the two go hand in hand. They're kind of helping each other in the bad way. It's like, are there too many mortal wounds? Maybe. But there kind of has to be, because if there weren't, nothing would die, because armor is too high. So is the real problem that armor is too high? Maybe. Sometimes things are a symptom and not a cause, right? What's the third battle line? Let's see. Vanquishers, Vindictors, and something. Oh, he's in Hammers of Sigmar. So Fulminators are battle line, right? Am I remembering the rules correctly? Do I need to check the tapes? I think Fulminators are battle line in Hammers of Sigmar. I think that's it. Good call out, though. Anyway, battle round 1. Turn 1 opponent, magical dominance. Oh, I outdropped my opponent because they were on a bunch of battalions that did a bunch of stuff. Gave extra primal dice, all sorts of bonus artifact here and there, stuff like that. They went for value. So I made them go first because I'm not trying to think. Magical dominance, cast a big spell, 4 points, easy. And oh, okay, here it is. All right, I thought this was going to be a bad one. There weren't any gotchas. I just want to make this clear. There were no gotchas. I like to think that I explained pretty clearly what I was doing. Generally, what I do is I ask the opponent, "Hey, how much Age of Sigmar do you play? Have you played against Beastclaw Raiders very often? Have you played against Kragnos before? When I'm deploying my guys, I can tell you what they do. Like, this guy moves this much. This is his save. I have one trick. Everything else I do is pretty fair, but I got this one trick, and it's a pretty good trick, And what I always say is, so we have a Frostlord on Stonehorn. This guy moves 14. And if he's Holy 12 of Kragnos, he then 3d6 charges, plus 1. 3d6 plus 1 charge. Does a whole bunch of mortal wounds. And then, at the end of the charge phase, this always works. It's not like sometimes it doesn't work. Roll 3 dice, and I move again, and fly over stuff and land somewhere. So, Kragnos is an aircraft carrier, and Stonehorns are little F-15s getting sent out to crash into stuff and shoot missiles and do whatever they want to do, right? So, one guy on all of my turns is going to go really far and then hit something and then go even farther and land somewhere. So when you're positioning your little castle on the other side, consider where I could land, And he's like, okay. And then stuff happened. He goes. And on my turn, I'm like, Stonehorn landing pad detected. It was like that anime noise, and my eyes started glowing. Oh. I found a spot to land. All right, boys, we're getting in there. So send people up. Frostlord on Stonehorn. Right to the edge of that 12-inch line. 3d6 plus 1 charge. Get in there. Blast some crap in front of him. 3d6 overwhelming charge. Leap over the chaff screen. Land right next to those fulminators. Pin right on the side here. It's time to go. Right? All out attack. Roar. Because once a game, double monstrous action. First one, overwhelming charge, and then roar what you land next to. All out attack, let's do it. And it's the Frostlord version, the one with the spear. Miss all attacks, fail roar, do 1 damage. All right. Okay. Good counter argument. Hey, it's your turn. I mean, go ahead. Sorry about all that. What I meant was take 1 damage and it's your turn. But I do score 5 points, I guess. Because the battle tactic was intimidate, so we did that. And I scored objectives and stuff. Get a load of this skill issue, Dio. Yeah. You played your first GT this weekend at Summer Slaughter. It was great. Playing so many lists you don't see locally, and the vibes were chill. Yeah, that's how I found this tournament as well. So battle round 2, what happens? Opponent wins priority. And he proceeds to blast that fucking Frostlord, who is now surrounded by opponent's entire army. In fact, I think the battle tactic he chose is called Surround and Destroy. Very appropriate. I used Finest Hour, it didn't matter. Turn 2, me, led into the Maelstrom.
Dylan!
Oh.
You son of a bitch.
You son of a bitch. Shorty Paint Studios, thanks for the big rating party of 4. Thanks for showing up. What were you painting today? I'm just going over the Midwest Meltdown tournament recap, which was a ton of fun over the weekend. You know, in checkers where you get to just keep jumping as a Zinch player, you once spaced your foot heroes perfectly for all of them to just combo, get stomped by Godric. Oh no. That's a rough one. And Crypt Shadows is a raider from Shorty Paint Studios. Nice. Hey, thanks for showing up. I appreciate it. I'm right in the middle of talking about playing against Stormcast. I went for Led into the Maelstrom, Kragnos, big whiff, like missed a whole bunch of attacks. But I still scored 5 points and my opponent scored 4 points. So what's happening here is I'm totally failing in all of my combats, but I have good board position. I got control of objectives. I'm keeping him at bay. He's wasting his time fighting big monsters that don't die very quickly, and I'm, in other words, succeeding at all my battle tactics. But not really killing stuff. However, you know, sometimes you lose the battles and you win the war. Battle round 3, priority win. Ooh, double tourneys. Okay, reprisal. And do it. Finally finish off the fulminators. It took 3 battle rounds, but I killed those fulminators. It finally happened. And then opponent leads into the Maelstrom for 3 points. And almost everything is dead. He's got like 2 dragons, a battle line unit chilling somewhere. Everything of mine is dead. All but maybe 1 or 2 units of his on the table are dead. I killed everything. And I am completely dead. But he can't score enough points to catch up. So get tabled, still win on points. You love to see it. It doesn't happen very often anymore. It used to be, I think, a selling point of the game, that you could get tabled and still win because the game's about victory points and stuff like that. It's more rare now, but it still does happen. Also, Kragnos was killed by birds. Kragnos died to birds in this game. He was chilling at 1 life and was in combat with 3 stupid birds. And you have to attack, and I'm like, I bet I'm gonna kill those fucking birds, and they're gonna explode for 1 mortal wound, and he's gonna die. And the opponent called it, I called it, and it happened. Aetherwings OP, killed them, he rolled some dice. Kragnos takes, I believe it was 2 mortal wounds, and I rolled 1 6 and something else. So Kragnos worse than birds, you heard it here first. Ends up dying. It was a cool effect. I lost, but man, I killed so much stuff. Yeah, it's fun to kill stuff, though. Out Fearicking the Fearic Stormcast. Or Pyrrhic, I guess. Impressive. Didn't bolt the birds. Pay the price. Yeah, you gotta lightning bolt the bird of paradise, for sure. The devil made me do it. Anyway, it was a sweet game. Tons of, like, close moments where somebody lived longer than he should on 1 life, and then that guy is sort of like a hero now, and you start talking like, ooh, I wonder if he'll do it again. Of a lot of moments like that were really fun. I think the dragons came down from the sky a little late. I might have done it a battle round earlier or something like that. And in future, there probably won't be any landing space next to those fulminators. So in future, this Stormcast is going to be much improved. Good experience. Normally, Stormcast is a very bad matchup for my army. Because their Alpha Strike plan is very good and very consistent, and it does shitloads of damage, and I have no chaff, no real way to stop it, and the best I can do is play catch up. Like, they put 4 fulminators out, and my general just dies, right? And so now I have to play the entire 5 battle rounds of the whole game, instantly down my general, and there's not too much to do about it, you know, or maybe even Kragnos or something like that. And so, yeah, I can kill the fulminators in response, but now I'm just always responding, and I can't wait them out because I'll get shot to death, and they have more units on the table to go to more places, and anyway, like, normally it's a bad matchup. So I felt like I got lucky here. Kragnos is just a maybe. Rem, yeah. Frostlord, any Stonehorn probably just dies. Kragnos, maybe not. The problem is if it kind of depends on if I deploy. If I full turtle up in deployment, then I can kind of choose what you're going to try to kill if you want to. If I'm spread out, then it reduces my options in the future where I'm like, I'm going to best day ever Kragnos. And they're like, cool. I'm going to kill some other guy. I'm like, fuck, I should have thought of that, you know. Battle round 3. Ironjaws. Alright. I took pictures of this game. Oh no, wait, that's Big Boys. Here we go. Christian Ware. Beloved former Australian, current Canadian, all-around flannel enjoyer, Christian Weir, on his heavily customized Ironjaws, who were done up as Great Unclean One Ironjaws, Double Maw Crusher, Pigs. Yes, those are, by the way, Ironjaws riding all of those. This is not just his Nurgle army. Each of these models is basically half of an Ironjaw kit and half of a Nurgle kit. So these are the pigs. They don't fly. They just look flying, you know. And the, what is it? The War Chantas were the big wiggly, I can't remember, Beasts of Nurgle, I think, except with like orc heads on them and a whole bunch of armor and shit. I'm an enjoyer of conversions, and the conversions were very nice. Always good to see. Roger Wilco. Did you get a chance to read the rules previewed for the old world today? Oh, no, I didn't. I didn't see it. I didn't see the news article. We talked about Cities of Sigmar. I might get to the old world stuff later. Just to see. Just to know, you know? I'm like very not interested in old world at all because I don't I make it no secret I didn't really like Warhammer Fantasy. I wasn't playing war games back then. I looked at the rules, I looked at what the models look like, I looked at the community, and I'm just like, I'm not interested in any of this. So I don't have like nostalgia for it. I like Age of Sigmar a lot. But I suppose I can cover a thing or two, because it's like news, right? It's stuff that's coming out. Anyway, this game was embarrassingly cool. For me. And I do mean that. It felt a little embarrassing to smash this hard. Some games of Age of Sigmar... Also, hold on. Sir? Oh, it's a cast. Okay, no. Alright, he broke his leg. Never mind. Fashion police, put down your weapons. He broke his leg. He's got a cast. Everything's fine. Don't worry about it. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, so some games of Age of Sigmar, both players get to have fun. Cool shit's happening. You both have interesting choices to make and tactics to discover and plans to follow through on or go wrong, and hype moments where you roll the die and ooh, I wonder who's going to win priority and stuff like that, right? So I would say that's most games of Age of Sigmar. Some games of Age of Sigmar, and maybe it depends on the armies, maybe it depends on the people, maybe it depends on the dice. Some games of Age of Sigmar are zero-sum fun. There's only 100 fun to have. And if somebody's going to have 90 fun, the other person is just left with 10 fun. And that was this game. Luckily, opponent was a sportsman, a fine sportsman, a fine competitive chap, And so we were just like joking and laughing the whole time. Because who cares, right? A veteran, if you will. But I suppose it could have been bad against somebody else, maybe, right? Ahem. Let's see about my notes here. Total destruction. Everything went right forever. For me. Everything went wrong for him. Every time. Is this what it feels like to play an overpowered army? My opponent had 2,220 points, and I had 1940, and it felt like I was the one with more points. So opponent goes first because I gave it to him. Here's the starting positions. You know, gentlemen, start your engines. You can use your mighty destroyers, right? You can go over here and kill this guy if you want. I put a little shield for a little Kragnos shield up here, and then I have some counter charges to go here. You can go after this guy with a giant natural barrier here, and then all this can leave this guy to die and shift over here and be on these. Or you can go front row center, and we collapse in. This was the battle plan, where after deployment, you each roll a d3, and you can remove d3 units of yours. All right, hasn't been FAQ'd yet, but in the tournament, obviously it means of yours. You can remove d3 units from the table, and then they get to like ambush deep strike in battle round 2. So he picked up 1 cabbage and Gore Gruntas, because he rolled a 2, if I IRC correctly, so that he would then deep strike them later. I picked up nothing, because I got 6 models on the table. I'm not trying to play the first battle round and a half, maybe, with 2 models on the table. And also I don't want to put my guys in ambush like near the table edge. I want my position to be good, thanks. That kind of shit works when you have a whole bunch of units. For me, I didn't want it, so I decided not to. And I'm like, look, I'll play the first battle round maybe and a half. I'm feeling like I outnumber my opponent for once. I'll just do that. So, opponent goes first. He chooses intimidating to get outside of his deployment. Puts guys all up here. Spreads out. Ready for the slam. Me, I also do intimidating and start fighting back. All of these dudes are mighty destroying over here, just a million guys. Dudes are running up. These guys went over here, technically on this point. These guys over here on this point. We got a big old, Maw Crusher, right? Lurking back, just waiting. I choose intimidating, and I just charge stuff. I'm like, I'm just gonna charge stuff. Here, Kragnos is chilling. He doesn't quite fight anything yet. Mournfinger moving up. This guy's going over here. And if he wants to charge me with stuff, I got counter charges. I got backup plans just in case. We'll see what happens. Battle round 2. This is the big priority roll between 2 destruction players who just moved up to determine who gets to make all the gigantic charges. It's him. He wins priority. And he takes it and does lead into the Maelstrom, where you have to charge 2 guys, a battle line, and a hero. And one of those 2 has to still be in combat at the end of the turn. And so here's where things start going wrong. He charges Cabbage into... Was it Kragnos? Or was it the Frost Lord on Stonehorn? Oh no, my memory. Which one did he charge? Maybe I have notes later. I think it was the Frost Lord. Because later it was the Kragnos. One of these two, he charges with the Cabbage Battle Round 2. The other one he charges later. And so whichever one really happened, the other one happened later and the story is the same. I want to say, I think it was Kragnos. He charged Kragnos, did 0 damage, and then on his turn, I one-shot the Maw Crusher. That's it. So he sends 500 points at Krag, crashes into him, does like 1 damage, and then Kragnos just like slowly turns around and was like, "You fucking what, mate?" Yeah, the dead mace. I hit 5 times. Ren 3. Oh, he failed his saves. Take 20 damage. Okay, you're dead. Alright, that's it. I got 2 other attack profiles, but that's it. Alright. And all the combats he was in, he was just like losing the combats. When I would charge a unit of orcs, I would kill a bunch of them, and then they wouldn't do much damage to me. On his turn, he would charge a bunch of orcs into my guys, and they wouldn't do much. And then on his turn, they would like kill them. It was crazy. It was like looking at the stats of the War Scrolls, just things that were happening. My shit was just like statistically better than his in every way, and we both just did melee combat. And so his stuff was dying on my turn, and his stuff was dying on his turn. And he drops Gore-Gruntas down and this thing, and Kragnos starts chewing into the Gore-Gruntas and just fucking killing them. Killing a whole bunch of orcs on the side of the table and everything like that. I managed to perform a charge into the second Maw Crusher and just kill it in 1 hit as well. He uses Wah. He used Wah for the bonus rend and charged with everything and did like nothing. He used his once a game thing for bonus damage and like nothing happened. And I don't know, I was feeling bad about it. We were like, to keep in mind, the decorum at the table was us just fucking laughing about everything and joking about stuff the whole time. And making up little stories about what the guys were thinking about. But also it was a little commiseration. The last battle round was 4. I think he was perhaps entirely tabled, and we just didn't have any. Yeah, the last 2 battle rounds I just did the thing where all ogres are out of combat and stuff like that, and you know. Mephia Sisa Moth, first time chatter, am I okay? Yeah, the shit was sweet. I got to drive my monster trucks into stuff, and that shit just died, which is not usually the case. Usually the shit lives through it, and it's real annoying. So he was a good sport, Christian Ware. Great looking army, great conversions. Wasn't bitching about it the whole time or being one of those opponents who clams up when they're losing or anything like that. Plus we were laughing about stuff and just joking. You know, you take double cabbage with Ironjaws, you're doing it because your army looks cool, you know, and you spent time on it. It reminds me of the army that I made for Adepticon. The army that I made for Adepticon, I made like choice after choice after choice. That wasn't technically the optimal choice, but I wanted to make my army look cool and have a cohesive theme and use a lot of stuff I don't get to use usually. And I got like fucking destroyed because that's what happens. You should play your good stuff. But if you you know, if you know what you're getting into, then you chose to do that because that's more fun for you than something else. And so there you go. Isn't this guy getting sued? Not that I'm aware of, no. Christian is probably one of the nicest people in the game. Yeah, he's just a big friendly guy. Laughing, walking around, you know, little hobby hero action, doing stuff. Everybody's pretty, I don't know. It's a good one. The coherent dog, the cabbage looks on point. Yeah, it's super cool. I have closer pictures later. Oh, here we go. Hey, there's Kragnos getting charged by the Mega Gargant. By the Maw Crusher. We got Best Day Ever. We got Titanic Duel. He is roared, I think, possibly. I put a 6-up ward on these 2 Mournfang from being a priest. Here are my here's my ward save. For like the one save I failed, and then he's like, okay, that's 2 damage, and then it was one of those things where like I passed all my saves except one, and it's kind of crushing, and then finally the opponent does 2 damage, and I'm like, well, hold on, I got a 6-up ward, and then of course you just roll the 6-up ward on both, and you're like, well, I guess I take none. The dice were so hot for me, and they didn't have to be, but it was just like, kind of rubbing it in. And we had the fantastic duel here, which is what I used as a picture. Look at this dude. Nurgle Maw Crusher, dual wielding. He's got the bell, the dinosaur head, the orc on top. There's the American Frostlord on Stonehorn in American flag colors with gold tint, smashing an Ideneth Deepkin boat with I got the big hat right there. He's got his own little hat. The 2 conversions dueling, although his has more conversions than mine, to be fair. Who painted those? Christian Weir. Christian Weir painted this one, and I painted this one. My paint job is worse, and his conversion is more extreme, I think. But still, it was sweet to do. The Flosh. Yeah, the theme for my army is Stonehorns are using the monstrous rampage that crushes terrain, for other factions' terrain. So the Frostlord is smashing Ideneth Deepkin terrain. One of the Beast Riders is smashing a Fireslayer pizza oven. Another one is smashing a corn terrain feature. Another one's smashing the obelisk from OBR. Which one did I paint? The one on the right. This is mine. This is the one on the right. I even gave him my hat, the little big hat. And then Christian Weir is this one here, the green one. This one basically sums up the Midwest Meltdown tournament. Round 4. Round 4, Mega Gargants. Oh, I didn't talk about his list. I think I did, but you can see it here. Bunch of Ardboys, bunch of Brutes, some Gorgontas, double War Chanter, double Maw Crusher. Round 4. Sons of Behemat. Breaker Tribe. War Stomper, Gatebreaker, Gatebreaker, Gatebreaker. We're done here. Ship it. Roll them out. And here's deployment. You can probably guess which battle tactic I'm going for during battle round 1. It's the table edge one. This was one of the tables that didn't have a lot of terrain. Most of the tables had like a decent amount of terrain. This was one of the ones where the terrain was a little small and kind of all over the place. Every model's so big. There are, 10 models on the table combined between both players for this match. Just as God intended. Our movement phases were so fast. Lonely Sandbar, thanks for the tier 1 for 30 months. I appreciate it. Big 30, glad you left the mountaintop and gamed. Happy Monday to all the flats and hope you all are good. Hey, thanks, Lonely Sandbar. I appreciate it. 30 months is a long time. TY. Oh, yeah. Miniature. Yeah, these are... Especially these guys, they're kind of the size of a small child or something like that. Anyway, they're large. This was Megas times 4. 3 gate breakers, 1 war, and then I turtled up over here. I don't usually turtle up, but this time I had to turtle up in the Mighty Ducks formation. Because the rule of playing against Mega Gargants is, what you need to do is kill 1 every turn, and then you're good. If you don't kill 1 every turn, you probably lose. So you need the damage to kill 1. I don't have the damage to kill 1 normally. But now we have Kragnos, and so things are about to change over here. I used to think that Beastclaw Raiders had a bad matchup going against Sons of Behemat. Because they did. Your damage is actually pretty swingy. A lot of hitting on 4s before all-out attack, and you're going to get roared, so half the time you can't all-out attack, right? And so you're doing a lot of, like, man, you're either going to take 16 this turn, or you're going to take 2. Inconsistent, blah, 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 right? You might not be able to kill a Mega Gargant every turn. In fact, it's probably unlikely. But now I'm playing with an aircraft carrier. Now I'm playing with Kragnos. And the world has changed. Now I'm the one who is favored in the matchup. Basically because of this guy. Even if he doesn't get into combat, triple charging a Mega with 3d6 charges for 15 mortal wounds before the combat even starts, that's a big deal. And then the counter charges start. And so you kill 1, they charge Megas in, one of yours dies, you charge in, they charge in, you charge in, they charge in, you just kill each other. You don't have a lot of guys, they're all huge. There isn't too much to do here. It's 69 IQ playing, which is the kind that I like. Also, if Kragnos manages to actually charge something, you get to do the fun thing that almost never you get to do. Very Loamy. Thanks for the tier 1. I appreciate it. For 2 months. Currently on a streak. Yeah, now you're thinking with portals. You spend hours to skillfully make your army as awesome as likely. And then you just murder everyone. Yeah. And then you just murder everyone. Who is Sandy Loam? I understood that reference. So round 4, Megas times 4 versus Monster Trucks. Gentlemen, start your engines.
Which prawn?
I got outdropped for once. I did not get to choose who got first turn. For once, it happened. Because my opponent didn't have an Underworld Warband either. And I asked why. And it's because they didn't have an Underworld War. They just don't own one. They just don't have one. Same. I didn't have one either. And so opponent was 1 drop, I was 2, get wrecked, right? Joe Wee, thanks for the prime. Oh, I think that's the first prime. Thanks for the first prime. Did you get to do 36 mortal wounds to the Mega? Well, let's just find out. I took fastidious notes. Megas don't have one. Right, but the rules for the tournament was you can choose a warband from any of your Grand Alliance. So you can use any destruction one, and you get to ignore just allies and all the rest of that. Because they Domus understood that some armies just don't have any or can't have any or whatever, what have you. He's like, you can choose from the whole Grand Alliance. We want everybody to participate as long as they want to, Battle round 1. Opponent forced me to go first, which was proper. You want to be going second, probably, in this matchup, unless you can alpha. I did the 3 table sides one. So these Mournfang were chilling. I think they moved outside. They moved wholly within 6 of the board edge to get the battle tactic, and within 6 of the objective to score the objective. So they were little tacticians over there. Thundertusk Beast Riders went back here with, I think, a 6 run roll. Because again, I'm continuously surprised by how slow they are. But they got there, and Frostlord zipped it all the way over here. The full 20. No, he had the 6 to run. the full 20 over here. And then these guys just sort of postured, you know, depends on where we're going to go. Scored 5 points. 1, 2, more, and battle tactic. Turn 1 opponent also did the 3 table edge thing. These 2 dudes right here. Yeah, this guy made it over with a 6 run. This guy went here, and these 2 charged Frost Lord, who I had moved up here. And I'd moved him up here. I'm like, well, he might charge me, but I'll just best day ever. And then I line up the secret sauce to come in there, you know, next turn, right? I used Flosh best day ever, and he survived their onslaught very nicely. Didn't take a crazy amount of damage. Felt pretty good. Mega Gargants, by the way, they're not the most, like, crazy damage models, really. What's best day ever? Oh, finest hour. The heroic ability. I call it best day ever. Some people probably, you know, yeah, it's finest hour. But yeah, the thing about Mega Gargants is they're very hard to kill, and you probably just can't ever capture anything if they're standing on a point. But their damage is just okay. You know? You're looking at their profile, and you just look at the one weapon on their profile that has Ren 3, and everything else is kind of whatever. So they're not the craziest damage, necessarily. So Frostlord lives. He's got Rock Hide for -1 to wound. He's off Frostlord. I got best day ever. I can't remember if Roar worked or not, but regardless, we survived the onslaught. And unfortunately, because he chose the 3 tableside battle tactic, unlike me, who chose it and was still able to do it in such a way to get onto 2 objectives, he couldn't, because this guy had to go here, and this guy had to go here. And so he got 1 objective. And, oh, actually, maybe more, like, over somewhere. He got 1 of these 2. He got 1 objective, and that was it, so 3 points. Battle round 2, I win priority. Oh, Lord, they coming. Now, I don't often go for the turn 2 double. You know, the turn 2 double turn is a little uncivilized. The good players say that the turn 3 double is the better one. It's the points one. The first one is the damage one. They might be right. What's the rule? My rule of thumb in general, as far as taking double turns is concerned, I'll very often give it to my opponent anyway, even if something of mine is going to die, or even if it kind of looks bad. You take a double turn if you think you're going to win immediately because of that double turn. If you're not going to, like, win for the most part, don't. Because if you take the double turn, then now your opponent's in the driver's seat and he can double you back for the rest of the game, and it's a dangerous thing, right? Do you have any ranged in your army? I got 2 birds. I got 2 blood vultures, 1 pistol shot that always misses, 2 different bazookas that always miss with 1 shot, and then Frost Wreath Ice, which does 2 mortal wounds. So technically I have ranged attacks, but they're not, I wouldn't call them shooting. It's more just an afterthought. For the people who wrote the War Scrolls, yes. The birds are really good, though. They're underrated. The bird is an ability. It's not a ranged attack. It's an ability. It just happens at the beginning of the shooting phase. Some bird is released, and the range is table wide. Infinite range. It's just line of sight. Pick a dude, roll a die, 2 up, 1 mortal wound. And so I got 2 birds. I tend to do 2 mortal wounds a turn. 2 anything from anywhere. That's really good. It'll kill 1 long strike. on average, right? You can start slowly just putting mortal wounds into some hero somewhere over the course of a few turns and maybe have somebody have to waste heroic healing on it instead of some other thing they wanted to use or whatever. Because it's an ability, it can target little foot heroes, right? It only stops, the new rule only stops shooting outside of 12, right? Not abilities. On average, yeah. That's the thing about averages. It ain't no guarantee. That's why you play the game. You know, it is a dice game after all. Anyway, so I got the double turn and I fucking took it. It's time to smash. The battle tactic I chose was from the Ogre book, and it's called Drive the Monster Trucks into the Sons of Behemat, I believe is what it's called. You have to do 10 or more mortal wounds on the charge, army-wide, and then you get the battle tactic. I did 20. So battle tactic secured, and Kragnos doesn't count for that. It's only Ogre keywords. Everybody charged in. One of them did 6 mortal wounds, the other did 5, another did 6. 6, 8, and 6. And then Kragnos rolled 2d6 for the big monster thing, got a 2 and a 3. Oh well. Hey, 6 mortal wounds on a pretty low roll, I'll take it. And fucking crushed everything and got 5 points. Opponent chose Colossal Violence to try to finish off the Frost Lord, and failed the battle tactic and couldn't move to enough objectives and scored 1 point. It was kind of another blowout. Battle round 3, opponent wins priority, takes Intimidate, and ends up failing it because a Gargant died, so that he didn't have more outside than in. It was actually even. We're down to 2 Mega Gargants now. Scored 2 points. On my battle round 3, bottom of the round, I chose the book tactic, all Ogre keywords must be in combat. I got them all in combat, and then killed a whole bunch of crap. Battle round 4, opponent wins prio, takes the battle tactic, kill a guy with a rock, didn't kill the guy with the rock, and then I took reprisal and killed the final Mega Gargant. And in battle round 5, I chose the battle tactic, all ogres are out of combat. We did it. This was another kind of blowout. The Christian Weir one was kind of a blowout as well, which sometimes happens. On paper, I'm favored in both of these matchups, and they turned out how you expect them to. Remember what I just said about this is why we play the game, and it's a dice game, you got to play it out. Just because it's a bad matchup, or you're not favored, or it's your opponent's game to lose, well, sometimes your opponent will oblige you. And sometimes the dice are hot, and sometimes they make a mistake, and sometimes you get a clever play, and all the rest, right? It's important to play it out. But a lot of times it turns out in the way that wouldn't surprise anyone. And so Kragnos Beastclaw just kind of ran over Mega Gargants, which is what you kind of expect to happen, and just kind of ran over Ironjaws, which is also kind of what you expect to happen. But cool opponents, a lot of storytelling. You would think this game was really fast. It wasn't really fast, because we knew that there was not too much to do during the turns. Like, both of our hero phases each took 30 seconds. And now it's time for the movement phase, which took 35 seconds. And then it's charging in combat, and we skipped Battle Shock because it never mattered. And so we're just fast. We didn't have much to do during the game, mechanically, besides think about stuff, and then just talk to each other the whole time. So, Jay Kushrin, sorry to interrupt, Mr. Big. When's the next big YouTube video, if ever? I'm probably gonna re-record this or make a video out of it for this one. And I have a 3K tournament this weekend that oh no, wait, I can't go to that one because it filled up before I was able to find the person to talk to. It's so hard to find the website or the person for tournaments sometimes. It's also my fault for not reaching out faster. But a lot of them only have a Facebook. I don't have Facebook, so I can't contact it. A lot of them don't have websites. And I didn't think I'd be free these 2 weekends, and I might be. So I think it's time for some huge YouTube videos, though, Jay Kushrin. I got to keep doing those. That's the real reason people like me. It's not because of the Twitch stream. I mean, we have like a comfy atmosphere here, I'd like to think, and I play a bunch of old games, and whenever there's a Warhammer Games Workshop announcement, we all watch it together, and then, you know, people show up, and that's fun. But for the most part, I think people like me because of my YouTube videos. So I intend on making some more in the near future. Not this week, but starting next, I think. Yeah, and sometimes I play AOS games here too as well. Good memes. $3K of Beast Claw. Yeah, you know what my list is? Okay. Partially interrupting this tournament report, okay? Frostwood on Stonehorn. Stonehorn Beast Rider. 2 Mournfang. Thundertusk Beast Rider. Kragnos. What do you think my 3K list is? Mournfang, you're out. Stonehorn, Stonehorn, Stonehorn. And we're done. There we go. 3K, easy. I think the points end up being it has to be Frostwood on Stonehorn, 3 Beast Riders, and like maybe a hero Thundertusk or something like that, and Kragnos. But it's just more fucking monsters, and I don't think I even play with Mournfang. They might be out. Kind of looking forward to it. It would have been a good time. It's me, Jukes. Thanks for the tier 2. Oh, big 2. Thanks for the 20 months. 20 months, it's almost 21 months. And tier 2, that's a little more than tier 1. Thanks a lot. I appreciate it. Tier 2 ain't cheap. TY. Oh yeah, I gotta pay my mods. I almost forgot. I gotta get everybody's... I should just write down everybody's email so I can pay the mods easier. I need to resolve to do that in the future. You reminded me. Come for the big, stayed for the hat. All right, thanks a lot. Who are the boys down on the bottom? These 2 here are Mournfang. There's a bunch of snow all over them. 2 Mournfang riders. They're the battle line for Beastclaw Raiders. They suck. And they're too expensive. But you play them anyway because all the alternatives are even worse. C'est la vie. I say, as I just beat Sons of Behemat, imagine complaining about your army after you win. Don't do that. They suck because they are too expensive? I think so. Mournfang, it's not one of the Race to the Bottom War Scrolls, where the War Scroll is just bad. That's not the case. Mournfang War Scroll is a good War Scroll. It's fucking weird that you don't get any options unless you run 4 of them. That's weird. I don't think anybody else has to deal with that in the game. But aside from that, the War Scroll's fine. It's a decent War Scroll. It's just too expensive. Some War Scrolls are just bad. And it almost doesn't matter what they cost. But Mournfang are pretty good. You'd play them at 150. Yeah, maybe 150. I'll put it this way. If I were changing points, if I were an expert, if I were some kind of expert, instead of just a guy who happens to be talking on a screen and can say whatever he wants and pretend like he knows what he's talking about, right? I would start Mournfang at 150 and see what happens. That would be the beginning. And just see what happens. Final round of notes. What's the record? Well, I lost round 1 against Sylvaneth, which I think is expected, just for the on-paper matchup. But I lost because I made a mistake. Opponent played well, though. And I played well besides that huge mistake, maybe. And there were like 2 others that were kind of weird, but never mind. And then 3 wins. Damn, we're 3-1 going into the last round. Could it be that I go 4-1 with 1940 points with no Underworld Warband in a tournament where you get a free Underworld Warband for 200 points? Can this happen? Both arms tied behind my back, freshly nerfed army playing with trash like a Thunder Tusk? Let's find out. I checked the pairings and it turns out I'm playing against Stormcast. And unfortunately, it's a good Stormcast. I'm like, fuck, alright. No, I'm probably not. Probably can't do it. Oh, we have some action shots here for some reason. He's mad. He's upset. Oh, this is when I charged everything into all of the guys and killed everything. That was fun. Remember that? Remember when I killed everything? That was sick. Double 60s. And once again, we have the shark. Oh, let's see. Did I take pictures of the Stormcast duel? I think possibly I didn't. Oh, I took pictures of the one other Beastclaw army in the tournament grounds, though. Let's see if I can find the Stormcast player. I think that was this. Yeah, here we go. I played against this Stormcast. It's like normal Stormcast, except with better helmets, superior helmet game, cooler shields, actual lances, and some sniper boys with big capes and cool dudes, custom dudes, big fluffy capes. Let's go. And orange hair waifu. I didn't know Rem was cultured, but I guess he is. The old reverse submarine. So yeah, I'm playing against also Gandalf the Wizard. This is a battle mage from Gur. And here it is. Knight Incanter. Lord Castellant. Battle Mage. With Merciless Blizzard. Also has Wild Form, of course. Knight Relictor. Not Lord Relictor, but the Knight version. Because the Knight version got so cheap, finally, that you're like, look, I know I could take the Lord Relictor, and he has cool War Scroll prayers, and he gets +1 to pray, but a 3-up re-rolling, that's like close enough to as good as a 2-up re-rolling. Maybe we just save the points and add something else, and that's whatever. 2 Liberators, 4 Dracothian Guard Fulminators, and 15 Vindictors. A squad of 15 Vindictors. Big unit. And then 2 Long Strikes, of course. Warlord and Vanguard. No Battle Regiment here. And Xandar's Truth Seekers for the Underworld Warband. Battle Mages can't have Blizzard. Oh, you're right. I don't know why I didn't realize it when we were playing. Yeah, allies can't take the spell enhancement, and they can't learn the... I forgot you can't do that. Man, I played a whole ass game against this. Oh, he's coalition. Maybe that's why. It's coalition. Yeah, alright. Hey, I was right. Okay, I was secretly right by not noticing it. Does that matter? Maybe. Everyone in chat is like, wait, what are coalition rules again? I don't fucking... It probably works. Fuck it. It didn't matter. To the outcome of the game, at least. So that was nice. Regardless, round 5. Imagine soup. Round 5. I'm like, damn. This is going to be really hard because Stormcast, bad matchup. And extra bad because of Battle Mage. So like the way that you, so as a Beastclaw player, the way that the path to victory for fighting against a Stormcast list like this one is they just have to fuck up. That's the long and short of it. Either them or their dice. The key thing is they're going to get +1 armor on these. They're going to get probably another +1 armor on these. They're going to maybe put a combat buff on them as well. And then they're going to roll translocate, which has a very minute chance of failing, but it's possible to roll 2 1s. So you're kind of like watching that happen. And then these guys land with a bonus to charge 9 inches away from you. And they just have to fail their charge. That's how you win. I hate to make it that black and white, but what they have to do is pass translocate so that fulminators are vulnerable, and then they have to fail the charge. And if they fail the charge, then your path to victory is almost assured. And if they don't fail the charge, you probably totally lose. And it happens immediately on turn 1. So, there it is. Battle round 1. This is against, you can call me Rem in chat, by the way, a flat. Unfortunately, I was very disappointed to notice as we were deploying our armies and talking and, oh, this is my list, oh, that's your list, that kind of thing. I noticed that my opponent took out a piece of paper and checked their notes for how they were going to deploy on this battle plan. And I was very disappointed in them, because that means they're good. It means they've thought about the game for more than 1 second. It means that they prepare, and that they're trying to do well on purpose. And that's not a good sign for me as far as the outcome of the game, with an army like this. So that was a rough one. Ooh, also asked me for measurements on the base size of Frost Lord, because they knew the trick. They know the jumping over and landing, and so made sure I couldn't land anywhere, which is proper play. So I make the opponent go first. Because I have no chaff, I can't stop this. I spread out hugely, so that wherever he goes, I can do some counter charges and kill it. And then now that I've consolidated, we can play the whole game. It's just down in points. So turn 1 opponent goes. And we're like watching the hero phase. Or I'm just like watching his hero phase. Like, okay, here he is. Here's the Battle Mage casting Wild Form. All right, this is what has to stop. I'm gonna make an Unbinder. Wild Form is the spell to stop. Let's do it. 6. Primal Dice. Can't unbind it. Fuck. Okay, that's fine. That's still fine. He can fail his charge roll. Doesn't fail the charge roll. Doesn't need to re-roll. I mean, he had to get like a 5 or something. It was pretty easy. So puts 4 fulminators right in front of Frostwood on Stonehorn, charges in, just kills him. He's dead. Hammer Assault battle tactic was succeeded, and it is at this point that the game is over in the future. I went for Led into the Maelstrom and succeed at it because I think I leave, I can't remember how many fulminators I leave alive. Maybe 1 or something like that. My memory is foggy here. Needs a 7 after translocate. Okay, it was a 7 that he needed instead of a 5. I knew it was some sort of low number, but he just rolled it. And at this point forward, the game began 1 second ago, and I have to play 5 battle rounds, down my general and 460 points, and also down 200 from an Underworld Warband. Ugh. I could probably hold it together for maybe a battle round or 2, but I just probably don't have the dudes to do anything. So we start to have fun instead. Battle round 2, double Doge. Wow. It is a tie, and he wins ties. So he gave me the turn, which is also correct. I felt extra bad about that. Opponent played perfectly round 1. And then they won priority, and had the audacity to realize that it wouldn't really matter if they took it or not, so they gave it away. That's also correct. Let's see. I did reprisal, and I succeeded. I have some salty note about missing all my horn attacks, like always, or something like that, but it was mostly like, it was one of those like jokingly salty things, not real salt, like having fun with it. Opponent does the 2 retreat, 2 charge thing, scores some points. He scored 4, I scored 3, better on 3. I won prio, but it, I took it because I felt like I had to take it, even though it would punish me later. And remember my rule about only take the double if you would win the game because of it? Well, this is one of those, I'm losing, and if I take it, I'm still losing, but less. So I took it. And then there's a funny story about this, actually. Can this man be more correct? Yes. Yeah. In battle round 2, they could have scored 2 more points. So, great shame upon the ancestors there. Let's see. You're surprised 4 Fulminators were ever able to clear a Frostlord from full? He wasn't from full. He shot the long strikes at him, used the breath weapons, stuff like that. Dragon breath plus 6 long strikes into Fulminators. Should take care of it, even with, -1 the wound and stuff like that. Hero phase shoot. They'll get the job done. I think you can roll crazy enough so that you end up living there, but it's a pretty low chance. What was the funny story? Oh yeah, so in Battle Round 3, I'm trying like goofy, well not goofy. So in my head, in Battle Round 4 and 5, the next 2, I'm like, okay, I know what my battle tactics are going to be round 4 and round 5. And I can get them even if I only have like 1 guy left. So, in Battle Round 3, I have to do a risky one, even though I could do an automatic one because I want to be able to do one round 5. And if I did an automatic one, I would be scrambling round 5 to find something I can technically do, and I might not even get it. So I had to do the risky one early so the next 2 rounds work out. And so the risky one I did early was retreat with 2 and charge with 2. So I could retreat with 2 of them, and then charge with... I only have 4 models on the table at this point, so I have to do this with my whole army. And then I can charge with 1 guy, and the Thundertusk Beast Rider is technically still in combat with 1 wizard, who I think is wounded, even. Maybe he has like 1 damage on him or something like that. I can't remember. And so what I can do is, in my shooting phase, I can put all the stuff into the wizard, and in the charge phase, maybe I can, if I need to, get the last few mortal wounds onto him, and then we'll still be in the charge phase because the mortal wounds happen at the end of a charge, not at the end of the phase. And so then that means the Thundertusk Beast Riders will technically no longer be in combat, and then he'll be able to charge, and then I'll charge with him, and I'll succeed at the battle tactic. This is like a common Beast Claw trick you used to do back in the day, where you would charge 2 Stonehorns into a combat and kill all the guys, which allowed this one to become free, and now he is able to charge, and you do like a pinball thing, and it's fun. So I'm like, I'll do that, even though, it's risky. It's not nearly as sure of a thing, because the wizard has a 6-up ward. Remember. Don't forget about that part. So we get to the shooting phase, and I'm like, all right, I need to kill this wizard, do a bunch of shots into him and everything like that. He's got like 1 life left or something, and let's release those birds. Easy, just a 2-up, right? Not today. Also, 6-up ward, got him. Wizard lives. Also, I think this was also a mistake of mine, where I got within 9 when I shouldn't have, which cut off a charge to free the guy. And I'm usually good about not getting within 9 for my charges to stop redeploys, but this time I might have. I can't remember if I made this mistake or if in my head I was so concerned about making the mistake that I thought I did anyway in retrospect. But I think I made that mistake here as well. I don't know, maybe remembers, I'm not sure. On this crucial turn, did I not get, were you able to redeploy on that particular turn? Yeah, you redeployed the warband. And it got in the way of Kragnos. Yeah, I thought I made that mistake. Usually I'm good about staying outside of 9, but I don't know. Didn't do it that time. It was a mistake. But in Copium, I'm like, well, it's okay that I made that mistake because, in the shooting phase, the guy will probably die. But it was Copium. I shouldn't have made the mistake because of situations like this where, it's like pretty likely that you kill someone, but pretty likely isn't a guarantee. You always want backup plans, at least in this game, I think. Anyway, so I failed that, failed the battle tactic because of it. And if the game wasn't already over, and it kind of was, it sure was now. 2 points. Battle round 3, opponent led into melee, scores everything, guys everywhere, just doing the thing you're supposed to do, max points. You rolled a 2-up and a 1, and you rolled a 6. I do remember that, yeah. Hey, 6-up ward, pretty good. Sometimes it gets you the opportunity to even try to roll it, which I like. Even though a 6-up ward kind of sucks, it's nice to be able to at least have something to say about it. You roll at least 1 die, see what happens. And battle round 4. At this point, the game is over. So it's time to make choices that create special moments in games and stories. And so remember that Gandalf I was talking about before? Remember that dude with his blizzard? That shit does 4d6 mortal wounds. It's time. Translocates the wizard right across from Stonehorn Beast Rider, who has 8 wounds on him, off in no man's land, away from anything that could possibly matter. Didn't position him well this game, by the way. Yeah, D2 Cold Sork. Yeah, Frozen Orb. He gets like a 15 or something to cast it, I can't remember. And, alright, 4d6 mortal wounds. 17 mortal wounds, just melts him into the ground, turns him into a block of ice, and it shatters like in Mortal Kombat. Fucking destroyed. It was sick. And technically that was the battle tactic, because the battle tactic was cast 1 spell successfully. So then he scores 6 points, and then in battle round 5, I think I'm tabled at this point. I don't think I have anybody alive in battle round 5. But he manages to do the 3 table edges 1. He had the setup for it last turn, which is a lot, you often have to do that in this game. Okay, what am I going to do next round and the round after that? You kind of have to start moving there, for your choices. Scores max points. Game over. 3-2 for the tournament. And I think Rem got best order. I was the gatekeeper of trophies. Defeat me and you win a trophy. And that was the last round, and it happened. Best order. So we have some flat representation in the trophy room. Always good to see. Pretty common occurrence. Somebody gets there, right? Oh yeah, pictures are in the recap channel. We have a channel on Discord for Midwest Meltdown for a little while, of pictures of different games and stuff. Once again, I forgot to take a picture of my own army. I took a picture of every army in the fucking building, except my own, because I always forget. But there's some really good looking stuff here. Good color schemes. Tons of conversions. Like every army had conversions. Maybe this is just a Midwest thing. I don't know if it is, but I talk to people, and from how I talk to them, it seems like this is like a Midwest thing. Where we're just like, yeah, I'm going to build Sylvaneth out of OBR parts. And that's just going to be what I'm doing. And then you look at an army and you're like, no conversions? We're just really hobby focused over here, I guess. Classic color scheme, classic OBR. Look at the big double quarter pounders over here. Sick. The meat miracles, the big lads, the blaster boys. Look at that. You know, you get these in blister packs back in the day. They're random, I think. 3 ninjas. Just like the fucking 80s movie. Or was it was it an early 90s movie? Anyway, 3 ninjas. Dragons. You got little tiny trees that they're flying over. Cute. This is... What is happening? What is this? Oh, this is Soulblight Gravelords. They're in the slime. Damn, that's a lot of slime. 3 Ninjas was 1992. Okay, I thought it was either late 80s, early 90s. But thinking about the cover of that VHS, it was very early 90s, wasn't it? Got some Seraphon here. I don't know why this is so common, but Seraphon players love going to the pet store and buying like aquarium shit, and they always put it on their display boards. This isn't a criticism. I don't think it's a bad thing. I just think it's funny that Seraphon players tend to do that. The chances that a Seraphon player have a bunch of pets and probably an aquarium is like 99%. Was there a decent variety of armies? Looks as though there was. Yeah, there was a big old variety. I'm going to go through them now so you'll be able to see. Custom Mega Gargants, including the Queen, with some Zinch dudes in the background, the Wayward Sons. A lot of green stuff. Little Hydra head, wiggly Zinch thing going on there. Any green stuff users in chat? Holding up a big book and vomiting. Sitting on a spider throne. Looking forward to when you attend your first tournament just to get to play against all the armies. Yeah, it's fun to just walk around, take pictures of every army, and just see the cool stuff people make. Holding the Slanesh harpsichord person. Switch half, sure. We'll go cream team. You would convert way more if tournament rules didn't require it to be accepted to be used, because traveling to a tournament and then not getting a thumbs up. Some TOs are really strict. I have Arathu. Generally, like taking a picture of them and sending them to the TO, if you're concerned, is the way to go. So that, I mean, you're not trying to drive there and have somebody say no. You want to make sure beforehand, right? That being said, I've never asked a TO before, and this person didn't either, and nobody else does. But this might be a Midwest thing. This is going to be like a local thing. Different local scenes, different parts of the country, their TOs over here and over there. I bet they all do things differently. But in the Midwest, we don't give a fuck if it's Games Workshop products or not, if you didn't build it yourself out of stuff half the time, and as long as it looks like you put effort into it, we're cool. And we like celebrate conversions and all sorts of goofy stuff like that. But if you're concerned, I'd send pictures to the TO first just to get a no doc. There was... Oh, was there any Daughters? There might have been... I thought there was Daughters of Cain. Let's see. I don't think there was Daughters of Cain nor BOC, now that I remember. Yeah, everything except those. No Doc, no Cruel Boy, and no Beast of Chaos. Every other army was represented pretty well. Got some KO here. Nice and bronze. More bigs. There were 3 SOB, I think. Oh yeah, the sail they put on the frigate. Hold on. Actually looks quite nice. And I think this is like a 40k space elf weapon that they put on the front of it. Good work. Everybody's got something. Even bone splitters. People even played bone splitters. That's the diversity we have here. And I think they did pretty well. I remember talking to somebody who just lost to them in round 3 or 4 in the smoker's lounge outside. I'm like, what'd you play against? He's like, bone splitters. They're actually good. I'm like, yeah, it's just that no one plays them. You're in Europe, and tournaments all over Northern Europe all do it their own way. If the conversion is big, then it can be hard to see the size on a picture. It matters a lot. Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't have experience with European tournaments. I just know American ones. We're pretty laissez-faire in America for the most part. As long as it's on the same base size, right? Because the base size is the thing that's going to affect the game. As long as the base size is the same. And it looks like you put some effort into it, then we're kind of good. You got crushed by bones. You got Wergoged. Yo, that stare. The 1,000 yard stare. AKA the 1,000 damage stare. That shit's pretty good, man. It'll melt a Frostlord more often than not. Full to dead. The Bone Zone, nicely painted over here. With the Lego neon weapons. Which actually look pretty cool. They look cooler in real life. The bloody double quarter pounders. This dude is coming in. Oh, what's this guy's name? He has a sick ass. He has a sweet name. He has the most OBR hero name I've ever heard of. And he looks sick. What is that guy? He's part of the warband, right? Mir Kanan. Yeah. Mir Kanan. I mean, that's like a Soul Knife. Your Soul Knife character in Dungeons and Dragons. My name is Mir Kanan. My parents were killed by my adoptive parents. And my village burned down. You know, and now I'm a hero, I guess. Anyway, I think it's cool. Sea Elves by... Oh, this is Tanya Schreiber's. Nice. What a nice color scheme. Look at that. You don't see pastels a lot. Nice shell. It was a nice shell game. And don't forget, awesome, what is it? The gnashing jaws or whatever conversion into a giant shark. Great work. 5 out of 7 game. Also, no flight stands. Get that shit out of here. What about columns? What about columns? Good work. Good work, and you love to see it. And actually spend some time making this shit look good back here, right? Which is rare. Also, seekers instead of eels. Converted riders. Yeah, the riders are converted. Mr. Wiggly. Yeah, we just convert shit in the Midwest, I guess. We just like that. Yo, damn, look at that. That's sick. Skaven. They elongated it so that he has a rat phase. Cool. The Satan gods, I think, from 40k. Ancient rats. Extra horn business. Anyway, standing on top of a mausoleum. Sweet. And then, of course, Christian Ware, who won Coolest army player vote. Because of the big boy Guo Maw Crushes. And all this other stuff. Each of them definitely has that equal part Ironjaw, but also bloated with the Blessing of Nurgle kind of look to them. A lot of attention to detail. The War Chanters. From afar, I bet you thought these were just, oh, he just took the guys that, no. He put the Gorgrunta bodies on there, and Ironjaw's riding them. Went half and half bug. Like, because you look at him from afar and you're like, okay, he just used, Putrid Blight Kings, and then you zoom in and you're like, oh wait, no, actually, hold up. Effort was spent here. Plus random Nurglings. Just chilling. Looking good. This is actually kind of refreshing. You see a lot of dark colors mostly. We're going bright cast Eternals. Nice proud bald eagle. If you're going to use a bird, you might as well use a bald eagle, right? And we got some Fruit Loops over here. Toucan Sam. Bunch of Doges. Oh yeah, Mike Butcher's Lords of the Flies. Another Nurgle work. You cannot tell on camera here, but this was arguably tied for best painted, I would say. Maybe second place. Because that other army was painted really well in a classic way, right? But yeah, tons of conversions and all sorts of detail. A bunch of a lot of storytelling conversions as well. Look at these guys. Everything makes sense. And I guess you'll just have to imagine it. But the paint job was incredible. Really good. Just super good. Look at all this crap. Yeah, yes, he even painted the movement trays, yes. Oh yeah, he got the best painted warband, yeah, here. The shit was sick. And the newly upgrade, also, by the way. What's this? Do you think this is just trying? Nope. No, Bugman's chilling on top of the vortex. And the Gravetide recently got changed to do something. Which is nice. Yeah, imagine flight stands, right? Once again, the camera's picking these up as a weird color. But these were just really well painted, classic, whole bunch of trogs, man. Clean paint job. Nice orange and blue dynamic. My log. Just a whole bunch of trog boys and a Kraganos. Looking like an iron moon that's been painted over, right? Good work. I think I talked to this guy outside. It was maybe his first event and he wasn't doing very well with the trogs. But every round I talked to him, he had more to say about what he could have done differently. And that's what it means to get experience. It was a learning experience. It's just really, this one in real life was just very nice and clean. It's hard to paint clean, at least for me. No Trollhagen sight feels okay, man. It does feel okay. I didn't like her, but that's just me. Some more OBR. red, white, and black. Whole bunch of sandstone. And it's neat that all of the bases are like so bright and then the models are so dark. Usually it's the other way around. Any Skaven enjoyers? This one was looking pretty nice too. A lot of fun little details. Bunch of little rats. Double big rats with glowing eyes, looking cool. I don't know how Skaven did. I don't think I heard about how this one turned out. Fun little, you got the funny little rats and their funny little giant lightning lasers. And they're gods. The horn game, by the way, is always exceptional. Love the horn game. Looking very Diablo. Big fan. Big fan of the horn game. This is the Sylvaneth that I played against. Did I play against this Sylvaneth?
Bits.
Oh, thanks for the bits. No need for gravity. Thanks for 100. You know what you most have learned from this is that you really kind of both over and underestimated how well other people's armies are done. Like, they're all super rad, but they also aren't like a lot of the shit you see on YouTube. Yeah. That's why it's just really important for people to realize the difference between the internet and real life. Like, online and real life. Or the news and real life. In content spaces, and I mean this to say like the news, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, stuff like that, YouTube, you are like hyper filtered the most sensational stuff. But it's not the most common stuff. Sometimes it's, in fact, the opposite. In fact, a lot of times it's actually the opposite. If you go on to whatever, Instagram and YouTube, like, all the armies you see always are amazing. And so in your head, even subconsciously, you're like, damn, everybody's so good and I'm not. And then you walk into real life, right? And yeah, tons of people are really good and have cool ideas and cool conversions. But you look at anyone's army and there's mistakes everywhere. Just like your army. Like, it's fine. You know, you're not as outsized of, you know, hopelessly, oh man, everyone's gonna think my shit sucks. Nah, that's normal. It's okay. It was just nice and clean over here. This was a good one. There's my lady. Oh, can I see the guy? No, the guy she's stepping on has been kind of blocked by this guy. These are cool swords too. I like it. Lumineth Realm Lords. Look at that clean. Those clean whites next to reds. Eltharian Chad detected. This was in this was probably looks better in real life because I remember seeing it in real life and I'm like, these falling water things just are looking great. Nice and clean. It's almost hard to paint Lumineth poorly because all their details pop so perfectly with whatever color scheme you're probably using. And we got some bamboo, you know, we got, anyway, they're done up all in Japanese style. It looks like a computer game. Oh, it's Unreal 5. Yeah, the doors actually opened in that building too. You don't think you've ever been to an event where someone's army was ridiculed or told they were bad? People are just hyped to play. Yeah. But I also haven't ever gone to a tournament where somebody was like, you're fat, you know? So, like, even if somebody shows up with an army that is not painted well, like, who's gonna just, you know, hey, oh, hey, it's nice to meet you. Did you paint that army? that shit bad. And you are bad. You're bad at painting. The average quality of painting that I see in real life is definitely less than Instagram and stuff, but yours is way less. Holy shit. Anyway, your favorite movie sucks, and whatever your favorite food is, mid. Anyway, good luck next round. Like, who would do that, Doesn't make any sense. Oh, this one was so sick. Oh, I didn't get a good picture of it. Dude, it looks so busy. It did not look this busy in real life. I swear to you. In the picture, it looks like a jumble and it's hard to tell what's going on. It didn't look like that. This was a really cool looking one. These dudes were awesome. Fucking 6 Varangard? Bro. Also old school, I believe, Chorf flaming guy from Forge World, using that as something. Any net enjoyers? Any net havers? Snake friends? Vanguard have a habit of busying up an image if you push them all together. Yeah, that's true. Like, look, I admit, when they first came out, people were like, over-designed, too busy, too much trim. Probably correct on all counts, but when you see it in real life, it's not nearly as bad as in a picture. A picture, these are, fine complaints for Vanguard, but a picture makes those complaints much worse looking than it really is. And you can paint it in a way that it doesn't do that, if you want. What a neat scheme. Martian Balloon Boys. Also, Thunderers, never heard of them. All melee all the time. Double frigate, double melee frigate. We're just going in there, entering the charge phase, crashing a ship into something. Dudes come out with chainsaws and just start ripping and tearing. The only real shooting in this army is 2 units of Arcanaut that have 12-inch shots or whatever. Remember when Thunderers went way up and people were like, KO is dead? Nope, this guy went 4-1. Melee KO. Get blasted. Doom 2 army. It was sweet. Yeah, I say only shooting, but obviously there's still lots of shooting because it's a shooting army, but it's a very melee version of a shooting army, I'll say. Oh, the Manticore proxy, you want to see it again? Yeah, Manticore proxy in the back. Yeah, man, I chose a poor angle for this one. I regret this. The Manticore proxy was neat. And I can't remember what they used for the body and the head and everything. I should have taken a better picture of that one. But there were 60 armies to take pictures of. Oh, I just did this one because this was a really good paint job. Looking clean. This whole Slaanesh army was really good, too. Fucking mold lines. Man. Games Workshop, your quality needs to go up. But very well painted. All their people were really well painted. It was like a giant chaos bull. Oh, sweet. Oh, because they had the other Chorf stuff. Look at these Stormcast here. Look at that car paint job looking ass candy blue reflective on that armor. And the blowing hair in the wind. Chadcast fashion internals. Those dudes looked cool in real life. And, even look at the little tints of orange just on the edges here to break it up a little bit. So when you put them next to each other, they don't blend into each other quite so much. A little gradient here. Bunch of lichen and moss on these trees. Very festive. Rhinoceruption thinks it's a big primer. I appreciate it. For 25 months. Currently on a 1-month streak. Thanks for the prime. I appreciate it. I'm liking this army. We've seen this before. I just took a different picture of it. The Giant Assholes, apparently, by Quentin Tarantino. This dude, oh man, I'm so happy this guy went down and everybody else went down, so you can play King Big. You can finally play King Big in a 4 mega army. That's all I wanted. He's a priest. He's got synergy and buffs to pass out to your army, and you don't have to be in stupid circles. What a good idea. With feet like these, right? And the desk plaque is just a really good idea. It's a nice touch. I agree, Jupes. I got to get one of those. That just says 4 big guys, Heywoah or something like that. I got to get one of these. I could probably get one at the mall or something. I'm sure they make custom engravings there. SOB really needed an alternative leg pose. Yeah, that's my biggest complaint about the new line. Is I'm like, man, if you're going to play 4 of these in an army, you got to give me 2 different leg positions. All the other stuff that they're doing is like the upper half very different than this upper half, very different than this one, or different enough, you know? But man, it would have been nice to have 2 different leg options. I know that's a lot of plastic to put in the box, but yeah. Do not adjust your screen. This is not desaturated. It's not in black and white. They just wanted it to look like that, because you can see from back here. And so they painted they painted an old school, like, monster movie desaturated Nighthaunt. Truly ghosts. And then just a little bit of, like, red that really pops on the briars and here and there on the models. The green flames and stuff. This one looked really cool in IRL. Who knocked over the models? It's Nighthaunt. You have 100 guys and they die real easy, and all these size and stuff catch on each other, and so you just pick them up like this in a grip of 5 and just put them somewhere. Also, some of them, are a little wobbly, we'll say. But I know Nighthaunt players. They pick up 6 of them at a time and just like put them somewhere in a Tupperware bin. I would too if I were them. He tried to weight the bases, but I guess needed more. Any rats? Any rat enjoyers? These models, by the way, are $15 US for one model. Here are 20. However, these are custom. These are not the ones from Games Workshop. And the amount of blame I put on the person for not wanting to spend $400 on one unit. Print away, King. I can only stand so much, right? And they look cool. They look good. They look better than they appear to look here in real life. It's supposed to be grungy and dingy, and they have these dusters on with just slime all over them and stuff. Ninja rats in the background, just clouds of men. It looked good. This person does own the actual, like, monkey rats, though, the ancient ones. Skaven better be the next Cities of Sigmar. You know, where they're just like, look, some of the old shit's just going away. And honestly, it deserves it. And it should have happened like 15 years ago. Here's 16 new boxes of our maybe our most creative IP, which is Skaven as GW. This is during the rain. This is rain coming down. It's a storm battle. Once again, the cool front thing on there. Oh, and now you get to see the troops a little better. Lots of brass and kappa. We looked at that already. Slaves to dankness. Oh, this one was painted really well as well. I wonder if you can probably tell here, right? You can tell. Look at this blending. Jesus. How a nitwit like you get so tasteful. Brah. Oof. Bobby Briccolini detected. Let's go. Hey, good luck. I hope your tables have the big terrain piece in the middle. Anyway, lots of non-metallic metal, lots of lighting. Really humble bases, to be honest, for how good everything else was painted. But you don't want them to be the stars of the show.
Twitch Prime.
Digemza. Thanks for the big prime. I appreciate it. Thanks for liking my stuff. Dudes in the background here. I think I tried to get I tried to get a picture of that guy. Oh yeah, I zoomed in because I'm like custom Slanesh heads on some of the chosen. Really well painted as well. Look at these dudes. The Spheranks. Bobby Briccolini zoom in. Also these. Nice. Look at that oxidation. Good work. Keeping it only on the bands and stuff. Nice skin. Look at that transition. Different skin tones and the slices. I think this was the best painted. Oh yeah, there we go. I didn't want to. I think I asked him to move it or something like that because I wanted to see the Sigvald, right? The Chaos War Shrine, which you combine with Sigvald to give him 3d6 charges. Just good attention to detail. Yeah, there we go. Faced him a little more towards it. Perfection. I found one other Beastclaw player in the room. So there were two, I think. I found another Stonehorn Enjoyer. And he had a warband of the pirate guys. And one Gorgia. So we got Stonehorn Beast Rider, Stonehorn Beast Rider, Stonehorn Beast Rider, Frostlord, and Thundertusk. Big monster trucks dropping all around. And a Gorger was actually really good for battle tactics this season. This season, for battle tactics, I think, man, you want a teleporter / deep striker and a wizard. You want all the different battle tactics are a lot harder to get now. In this season is going to be the hardest battle tactics to accomplish. And so I think more of your list than normal is going to have to be stuff that just can accomplish them. Another angle of the boys with Mornfang helmets. Ah, yes. Holding it down for the Dark Elves of Cities of Sigmar. I played against this guy before. See him a lot at most of the Midwestern tournaments. Still going. Still going with the dank elves and painted very nicely and lovingly. Look at this. Got the roses on their bases. Classic scheme. You got a theme and you're sticking to it. Oh, that other unit is a better cavalry. That other unit is a better monster. That other unit is a better hammer. Don't care. It's not a dark elf. Some people give a shit, some people don't. This guy's been playing this since first edition, and almost certainly in Warhammer Fantasy. Vigilar Dark Elf conversion is also sick. Yeah. So this is the Vigilers. Dark Elfified. Cool ass bows. Switch hats? Sure, I'll go back to big. Annihilator lists incoming. I really did not see a lot of Annihilators. I didn't see a lot of them. I wonder if there were any. More Skaven. Red, black, and green. A little pumper squad here. Was there a single Annihilator? I guess we'll see. I took a picture of, I think, every army, or I tried to. We started halfway through, so I'm going to start at the beginning again. All right, Andrew yells, Fire Slayers as Chaos Dwarves. How terrified was the Dark Elf dude opening the GW article about everything that was being cut from cities? Two things. One, he's seen it coming for 6 years. He's like, yeah, this stuff's probably on its way out eventually. I'm just going to play with it until it is, you know? And two, the article said to use proxies of your old stuff as new stuff. And so he's going to do that. He's like, I'm going to convert the new City Sigmar stuff. Yep, I'm making them in the Dark Elves. Is what I would imagine he would say. I talked to him years previously, but I don't know what he plans on doing in the future. I'm just assuming it's still this because he's done it forever. You hear he's ready to move on. Oh, okay. I should stop attributing things to someone. Cheap shield annihilators being able to be run in a line of 6 is fun and practical. Okay. Trunzo board. Jesus. The Gatling. Two-headed sewn together monster. We got a doom wheel detected. None of the Dark Elves will be cut away. I don't think the article said that they were. I think the Dark Elves get to stay. For now, right? There's Andrew Yells, power walking around with the monkey socks. It's called fashion, alright? Look it up. Oh, cool. Hey, I don't know that I've seen anyone add whiskers. But now that I see someone has done that, that's a good idea. Also, nice banner. Holy shit, what? This man's fashion? The competitive chest tattoos? Or the board? This is... Okay, I can't remember what this is. He turned them all into centaurs. That took a lot of... Who are you? Who are you and why do you do what you do? Into goat centaurs. All of them. And then painted them in like the hardline comic style where you outline everything in black. Pig tars. which actually looks really cool in real life, to be honest. Look, I don't try to understand Bone Splitter players, but good work. This is the guy you talk to in the Smokers Lounge. I talk to a lot of people in the Smokers Lounge outside. Is this the dude who makes his own clothes, but they're like totally sweet? That guy? Oh, who was talking about improvements and mistakes. Okay, that was that guy. Okay. Oh, the other Bone Splitter player goes by Pork Chop. Okay. But once every 6 months, you think about a Bone Splitter, and then go and look at the awful models again, and you are immediately off the idea. Yeah, I feel like games work. There's sort of two competing ideas here, and you can feel however you want about it. Part of the reason we play a Games Workshop game is because it has awesome models. And so if you're going to play the Games Workshop expensive game that has the awesome models, it feels like kind of a waste to choose the army that has the bad models and then try to fix them yourself, you know? So generally, I don't recommend it. However, we've just looked at like 50 armies where people are converting fucking everything, and that's fun for them. Sometimes it's fun to look at a problem and solve that problem creatively. So, you know, it's a turnoff for some people, maybe most people, but not for everyone. I think I took a picture of that one already. Still bleeding. Blake Stone. Like the fucking Doom clone from back in the day. We got boys. We got Scarbrand. We got a bunch of blood letters. Recently made, not terrible. Blood letters were really good very early in first edition, and then they were bad forever, and now they're not bad. Also, display board that is the corn symbol. Looking good. Especially for this one. Still got a little bit of work to do, obviously. But, hey, they work fine. One last hurrah with the mixed cities of Sigmar, just like the old days. Frostheart Phoenix. Stormcast Good Cavalry. The fucking Orrery for the bonus to shooting. I can't remember what this one is called, but it has an aura of ward and a giant laser. A bunch of handgunners. I don't think these are Phoenix Guard. I think they're... They might be counts as Phoenix Guard, or possibly... Eternal Guard, is that the Wanderer one? Oh yeah, it's the Dread Spears, you're right. I was thinking Eternal Guard, but they have different shields. They have the swirly thing on top of them. You're gonna miss the mixed race COS army so much. I know. I liked that kind of dynamic. Also Blaster Boys and Emerald Life Swarms spotted in the wild. Good work. Probably for this guy. Maybe for these even. I thought you hated soup. I do hate soup. But all of those things are in the same army. Right? Cities of Sigmar is... The whole concept of Cities of Sigmar is a melting pot of all the different old Warhammer fantasy races that hated each other because elves always hate dwarves because we're just copying Tolkien forever. You know? And then in Age of Sigmar, the bad guys won. Chaos took over the planet for 1,000 years. And all the different races with their stupid problems and ancient grudges that just didn't matter. They're like, well, we could all die or we could fucking work together. And then they do. And so Cities of Sigmar is it's supposed to be the soup. But it's contained within the army book, you know. And so it's fine. The soup that I don't like is more of a mechanical, like, game thing where, oh, they came out, let's pretend Gotrek has move 12, right? And so all 10 order armies in the game start with Gotrek, and then whatever. Or like some new, what are those things called? You know that endless spell that's like a living endless spell, and it's like a monster that's better than a Stonehorn. What's that thing called again? It's ugly. I'm blanking on the name of it. Yeah, the Incarnate. Like, if they come up with a new Incarnate, and every fucking army plays it. I'm like, come on. You know? Or here's Bone Splitters, they have a Rogue Idol. And here's Ironjaws, they have a Rogue Idol. And here's Crewboys, they have a Rogue Idol. I don't like stuff like that. I don't like mercenaries. I'm in a OBR army, but I'm allying in a Night Haunt, and it's better in my army than the original. I know you can't do that, but I'm giving like examples of stuff like that. I don't like things like that. I grudgingly accept that Stormcast are allowed to be in everything because that's their story. That's their entire point. It makes so much lore sense that I can't argue with it. Like, the setting of Age of Sigmar is melting pot cities of Sigmar and Stormcasts dropping down from the sky to help every order army win. And so, yeah, you should probably be able to use Stormcast in every army. Because that's like their entire point. So, okay. Right. But for the most part, I don't like other types of soup. That Centaur Bone Splitter's army is Princess Mononoke themed. Oh, Gladius 6. Nice. Okay. So that's why it was painted in this manner. Right? With the kind of harsh black outlines. I said comic style, but it could be anime style as well. And it looked cool in real life. And you got the cherry blossom trees and stuff like that. Okay, makes a lot more sense now. I get it. I just needed to get the theme, and I can put it all together. Any Dark Elf enjoyers? Derider, triple Derides, and Spoders. We have Gloomspite gets done as essentially Menzo Baranzan. Kragnos body, by the way. Little hair for all the tiny Driders. Nice theme. Also, a lot of work here. You didn't have to do this, but you did, and I appreciate it. Vampires do look a lot like drow elves if you paint them like it, right? There were 58 armies here and no incarnates. Good job. Yeah, I mean, it's not the heyday of the incarnate. It's not nearly as good as it once was, right? But still. What are the spiders? The spiders are spider riders in in Gloomspite. They were just given witch elf upper halves for all of them. This guy bought 2 armies. Right? They bought an entire Gloomspite army and ripped everything in half, exactly. And then bought fucking 40 witch elves and ripped those in half. That's dedication. This is what it means to be a winner before you've even played a game. And this Kragnos, by the way, is actually Kragnos. It is. Like that, it's in their list. Good work there. Now for the other army, witch elf legs and goblin tops. Well, they have it lying in their hobby room, right? They can do something with it. hopefully. Oh yeah, the bullet spaceship dragon. I forgot about the bullet spaceship dragon in the neon pink corn. I forgot about that one. In front of the Stargate. Not bad. That's a lot of big boys. That's a lot of blood knights. A few reavers. Garrix and otherwise. Big flat army. Kind of 40k. Oh, hold on. What's this? What's this? Conversion detected. High dexterity, high damage dancer. This is Kicker 7's army, by the way. Look at this dude. Look at this dude. Also, this dragon, I think, is a 40k spaceship. And they tore it apart and created a giant 45 Magnum bullet spaceship dragon out of it. Finally. Some good fucking food. Also, skull cannon detected. Is that a waifu detected? I would need a closer look, but signs point to yes. Chose the cooler looking Slaughter Priest. There's two models you can choose. Both of them look cool. No shade, but this one's cooler. Where's the Blood Secretor? Somebody said there's a Blood Secretor. Oh, could this be the Blood Secretor? Oh, okay. Oh, nice. Yeah. All the way up here. Look at these lads. The fucking Chosen. Yeah, converted a Bloodthirster out of a Demon Prince and Centaurian Marshal. Which looked good. And it looks like, maybe, Bellacor's base? Is this the rare triple threat? The bought a Bellacor, bought a Centaurian Marshal, and bought a Bloodthirster? Jesus. That is really super. Anyway, this was sweet. And good work. That was Kicker 7's, by the way. I took a lot of pictures of it. And then the good color scheme Sylvaneth is back. Also waifu detected. Good scheme. These guys are pretty converted too. Kurnoth scythes on the back of them. Oh, Dadbod Nabgod. Thanks for the tier 1 for 24 months. Did we discuss the new COS Mini with head in sock? Yeah. And I didn't know what it was, and then they told me it was a new word that I hadn't come up with, or I hadn't learned before. And so now I like it. I wasn't sure if I liked it before, but then I learned its reason for existing, and now I like it. Your submission for the waifu model tier list is in hobby to show on stream. Cool, alright. Yeah, this was Chris, also a flats enjoyer. A fine paint job, if I do say, and a good conversion. And, nice scheme. Oh, it's the Therodon axe. Never mind. 4. It's the 4-peat. Did we look at Andriel's army? I thought I saw those charts briefly. Yeah. Oh, we saw Cal Naps. Alright, we've seen all these now. Andriel's army. It's Fire Slayers done as Chaos Dwarves with all the little helmets, really muted color, really well painted, I do say. The dude with the biggest single sword is Gotrek here. Magma pikes and everything. Looking cool. Oh, sad. One of the guys has a sad face. Yeah, the blunderbuss guys are the magma pike shooters. This Fireslayer's list, by the way, Andrew Yell's creation. 3 units of Auric Hearthguard, the shooter ones. 3 units of that for Min Battleline. Gotrek, Battlesmith, Rune Smiter, the classic heroes, and then 5 Grimwrath Berserkers. Just 5 Grimwrath Berserkers, no big deal. Heroes, but not technically leader. And a bunch of invocations. Andriel's transformed into Cruel Drew, yeah. It's a really tactical army, actually. And he got experience playing it over the course of it. But Gotrek is so powerful. That fucking guy. The problem with the army is everything's move 4 and you only have 1 good rune for moving you places. And after you use that rune, you're slow. And so your opponent can leverage that disadvantage against you. But it's hard to fight this thing. A ball of 7 heroes are running towards you. And so how do you split attacks? You're either overkilling everything and hence wasting damage, or splitting it weirdly, right? And Gotrek just sort of eats anything, and so you put him on a quadrant of a table and everything has to run away from him. For the 3K tournament, by the way, you know what his list is going to be? Just 6 more Grimwrath Berserkers. It's like 10 Grimwrath Berserkers and then the list. That's it. He just adds Grimwrath Berserkers to it until he's at 3,000 points. It's going to be hilarious. Yeah, Andrew Yells also went 3-2, so it was a 3-2 weekend for both of us. I think we were both 3-1 going into round 5, and of course both lost. But it was a good show, and it was fun. I enjoyed myself. Great armies, good people. They had an entire catering table set up at the front of the hall with, like, I don't think I'm exaggerating, 8 giant boxes of, like, chips and food and snacks and, like, fucking cookie squares that the person, some lady baked all of this stuff and put it up there, and soda and drinks and everything. And she's like, this is just for a charity, just put some money in here if you want and take whatever the whole weekend. It was like a catering table. It was like I was on set again, except no red vines. That was sick. The problem is she accepted Venmo and cash, and I felt really bad because I don't have Venmo and I don't want to sign up to Venmo, and I didn't have any cash. I used cards and PayPal, and so I was unable to, like, pay the person with donations, and so I felt bad, and so I never went up there except like once or twice. Bro, catered, yeah. But yeah, 2 big dinners, 5 good games, 58 cool armies. Went 3-2, so a positive record at least. Without a warband or a terrain feature, after substituting a Beast Rider for a Thundertusk because my points went up. Went all right. It went all right. I had the training weights on from Naruto and still got a positive record. Not bad. In the wizard season, I should have had a wizard, I tell you what, but I just didn't. I wanted to see what it was like. The first event in a new season, you got to try the thing that you think might not be correct and just see if it is. Because every tournament is just like collecting experience points, right? how much worse was the list than my previous one. So, like, how much worse is this than a second Stonehorn Beast Rider? Significantly worse. Yeah. This guy not being able to move 14 and having no chance at melee damage worth a damn versus 50-50 shot at maybe some melee damage. Not having Stone Skeleton. Yeah, it's... Thundertusk Beast Riders were shit all weekend, for sure. But I don't know. I think you can still do it. You can, obviously you still can, right? I played essentially 250 points down for 5 rounds and went 3-2. So clearly you can still do it. It feels worse because we used to be better, but you know, ogres have a 50% win rate. You know, that's too high. You gotta raise the points on some stuff, you know, just to shake up the meta. To be perfectly fair, Kragnos BCR lists were probably not at 50%. That's ogres in general were at 50%. But you gotta do the spin zone thing every once in a while when you're downplaying your own faction. It's the law. You have to follow the law. Do I want to play it again? I probably have to. I don't think I have a choice. The other thing I could do is play 2 Mournfang, and then I have a bunch of extra points now to spend on something. Maybe I do that, because these guys were really awful. They capture 10, which is good, and they have impact hits with Kragnos, which is good that one time. So maybe that's enough. And Mournfang impact hits are non-existent. Even with Kragnos, it's terrible. Yeah, the loss of another big monster really hurt it. Truth be told, let's see. What are the armies this loses to? Good, consistent Alpha Strike. You lose hard to that. In general, just we're talking in generalities. What does Kragnos BCR lose real hard against? Excellent Alpha Strike armies. You get blown up by them. Because you're more drops, so they're going to outdrop you. They can pinpoint destroy one of your most important guys, whichever one they think they can, at the beginning of the game. And then you just don't have enough guys. You run out of steam right around battle round 3 usually, if that happens. And turtling up in a cube in like a corner of the board so that they don't want to alpha strike you. I mean, they still probably will, and then you just have to choose whichever 300 point thing they kill. I.e., you don't really have chaff. And if you don't have chaff, you're generally just not good against alpha strike. That's how it goes, right? Yeah, good targeted removal. What you are good against is probably everything else. Your dudes are fast. They capture 1 million. You do a lot of damage if you are on the charge. Enough damage to probably kill whatever. And you have our book battle tactics. I thought they sucked. But then they spent 2 years making every battle tactic harder and harder to do and worse. And so now ogre battle tactics are good. I changed my mind. They used to be bad, and then all the other battle tactics became really hard every season, forever. And so now we have good battle tactics. And so that's a help. That's a big help. But your problem is you have exactly 3 units that matter and 2 units that kind of don't. And if something dies right away, you probably lose. So, I don't know. I'm going to think about what to do moving forward, but I'm still going to be working on the Kragnos conversion. The man's too fun. He's fucking fun to play. I don't think you want to play Kragnos in... Maybe this is a hot take. I don't think you play Kragnos in any army in Age of Sigmar besides ogres. If Kragnos is in any other army, I think you could probably play better stuff instead. I think the other armies have better things to be doing than playing him for 720. But because his aura synergizes with impact hits, it means that ogres absorb Kragnos' synergy the best, by a lot. And so I think it's still worth considering him in ogre armies, but maybe not other destruction ones. Like, Gloomspite Gitz is good now. They don't need Kragnos, you know. Bone Splitters they don't need Kragnos. Ironjaws, all of your synergy is so locked that you can't afford to play Kragnos. You probably can't, you know. Maybe Mega Gargants want to Krag. No, okay, maybe I'm changing my tune. I could see Kragnos in a Mega army. I could see Kragnos in a Mega army. Never mind. I guess there's two. Because the problem with Sons of Behemat is that your damage sometimes is a problem. Is if you fight people that can't kill your giants, then you just win. Easy. Right? We're being really general here. But if the opponent can't kill the Mega Gargants, you probably win. If they can, you probably lose and there's like nothing you can do about it. And that feels bad. And so maybe you split the difference and go, hey, alright, Kragnos. I got some damage now, and then I take Mega Gargants, and so the people who can't kill Megas can't kill Krag either. So we're fine. And then if I need to turn on damage, I can, even though it's a lot of points. So yeah, maybe Gargants too. Ahem. Good targeted removal. It's finally time for IDK. I haven't looked at them since the points changes to see if I could build a list I was happy with. It's like my thing with Iden and Deepkin. Every once in a while, like every 3 months, I'm like, alright, what's happened to Iden and Deepkin in the past year that I haven't been paying attention to? Can I build a list that on paper at least seems fun? And the answer is usually no. But I haven't looked at them after the most recent points drop, so maybe it is. IDK got stuck in last place in Midwest Meltdown with an 0.5. Alright, that sucks. But I don't necessarily think I would lay that fully at the feet of IDK. For sure, Iden and Deepkin aren't doing great win percentage statistics wise. Right now. But, you know. Age of Sigmar has enough skill expression so that you can do pretty well even if your faction is like bad. You know what I mean? That didn't used to be the case for the most part, but it has become more and more the case moving forward. If you're really good, you can go 3-2 with a ham sandwich. Sometimes even 4-1. And so, like, how good the army is kind of like, I'll complain about that when I'm no longer making mistakes, right? Like, I made a huge mistake this tournament, and it lost me a game. And it maybe cost me 4-1, although the pairings would have been different after that, so you can't do a whataboutism, right? Yeah, I made a mistake that dropped me a game. And so maybe I bitch about Thunder Tusks after I don't make mistakes that lose me entire games, right? You know, like there's something to... Can I control whether Thunder Tusks are good? No. Can I control how many mistakes I make? Yes. All right. Well, the way forward is clear, right? Clay Takes US. Thanks for the follow. I appreciate it. If you want to play against IDK, hit me up. Yeah. I want to get some more TDS games in. I played Age of Sigmar this weekend, and now I want to play Age of Sigmar more. Imagine that, right? Yeah, the Silbooza special. 5-0 with a ham sandwich. You just gotta, you know, take some notes, prepare, think ahead, write little diagrams of how you're going to deploy in every battle plan instead of read the battle plans for the first time ever at the tournament, you know. If you want to do that. Because, like, nobody does that. And so if you do that bare minimum, you're probably going to do well. If you give a shit, a lot of people don't. A lot of people are like, I am willing to accept a worse record if I don't have to do that shit. Because the things I enjoy about the game, yeah, sure, it's winning, but it's also a bunch of other stuff, you know. You need to jump back in so bad waiting for Cities of Sigmar. Dude, it's looking good, isn't it? It's looking good, the Cities of Sigmar. I'm kind of hyped for it. I want to see those great sorters. Give me the flamboyance back. That's going to be a good one. Anyway, chat. Hey, thanks for watching. I got to eat big dinner and do a bunch of work because I went to a funny plastic toy man tournament over the weekend instead of do work. So I got to eat big dinner and stay up till 6 doing editing stuff. I might do another AOS show at some point during this week. 1 or 2. Because I want to get a TTS game in. Or 2. And I think there's other stuff to talk about. We got like 3 tier lists. Stormcast heroes. Something about waifus or whatever. Anyway, there's like Age of Sigmar tier lists and stuff to talk about. We could do Wednesday, my dude. What about Wednesday, my dude? You want to bring that back? It's a bad time slot if you're talking TV. Because if I'm streaming on a Wednesday night, that's Warhammer Weekly. You don't want to compete in the same time slot with that, but maybe I do anyway, because who cares? Yeah, maybe it's the return of Wednesday, my dude. I'll play some EverQuest. Every time my wizard runs out of mana, I'll just alt-tab and we'll do a tier list for 45 minutes. And after 45 minutes, I can alt-tab back and he'll almost be back to full mana, you know? Anyway, we'll see. Thanks for watching. Join my Discord, I guess. And I'm going to deposit you guys somewhere else with a raid. So stick around briefly. And I'll put you in some other channel. And if it's ideally probably an Age of Sigmar one. But if I can't find one, I'm going to click in a random place. And God have mercy on your souls.